The boxing voice for the voice of the people.
You're listening to the Boxing Voice.
It's showtime! Welcome back, boxing fans. Blood is good. Blood is emotion. Too much blood coming out of the eye. Blood is a story, a drama.
Deep gas, blood pouring right into his eye.
Blood is what we want to see in terms of passion.
Blood streaming now from the cut in the eye, the nose, his mouth, his cheeks swollen. He's still drawing.
What we want is a bloody good fight tonight. We have Heather, the Heat Hardy. Is this you?
This is me. I think I need to talk to you every night because you make me smile and blush over here.
Never been a lame-o, never been a lame-o. Yeah, I love the strip. I'm okay.
You're serious? You're serious?
And that's the good thing about UK. That's why I can't hate on them guys, man. They love fucking boxing.
No fighters in England. They all bums.
Did you hear what this idiot just said?
Yo, son, you're gonna get your ass beat by Molina, son.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's overrated.
Do some pushes for me right now.
For the interview?
Yes? Let those gifted hands go. Get out of here, Virgil. Go home.
What next?
You want the famous one for free? You not even honest? You want the famous one for free?
BoxingVoice.com.
This is why we use the word sensation.
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's edition of Ruslan Provodnikov versus Chris Algieri, where we witnessed another player in the 140-pound division make his mark. But, of course, before we get into all that, we must get into the bills and give out a few big thank yous and virtual hugs. First one goes out to Edgar Bajarajas. Thank you for setting up an automatic payment with the Boxing Voice and donating monthly. That is much appreciated. You know, I just can't say it enough. You know, whenever someone believes in what it is that we're doing, so much so that they're willing to do what Edgar has done, along with Kemp. I want to definitely shout out this one. Where you at? Tim Javier. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for doing the same exact, setting up an automatic payment donation monthly with the Boxing Voice, and also Raw Nature Music Group. I guess you're going to be anonymous. We're going to go with your company name, but hey, one company supporting another company. We love it. We love it, man. Speaking of love, I need you guys to show us some love and continue to use our Audible affiliate link over at theboxingvoice.com/affiliate sponsors. And go ahead on, get your free 1 month trial with on it. You receive a free book. You already know, man. I told you they got numerous boxing titles over there. You could get things on Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali and, you know, Al Bernstein. Mike Tyson's book is there. You know, and remember, even if you only get that 1 month and that one book, you're doing it in support of the Boxing Voice, you know. Same thing with onit.com, man. Look, everybody that listens to podcasts knows it's not too many people that are sponsored by Onit. The biggest name that comes to know, of course, is Joe Rogan. So these guys took a chance on us, and we need you to prove us right and prove them right. So whenever you need any natural supplements, even kettlebells, pull-up bars, even weights they have over there, use our banner, man. All we ask is that you use our banner over there on theboxingvoice.com/affiliate sponsors, and you know, show some love and support. And you know, we're gonna keep it moving here. So you know, the number to call in is 646-478-3068, so you can voice your opinion. Remember, if you want to talk to one of us, me, B, Vic, James, Mario, whoever may be on, what you need to do is press 1, and you'll be in the queue. We're going to get to you right away. Chat room roll call. We're on the win streak, baby. I'm losing in picks, but I'm keeping the chat room roll call open and doing it. So much so that I'm opening to the chat right now, so they're probably going to curse me out in there. Once again, 646-478-3068 is the number to call in, and you can definitely voice your opinion. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. I mean, there's no reason to dance around and talk about other stuff that happened because what we witnessed last night is awesome. It's like I said Thursday. If Algieri was to do it, it's his Rocky story. You know, it's his dream, him accomplishing that. And then, you know, what makes this big is the fact that this kid has no amateur background, and he started boxing at 23, and he looked like that. He looked like that, the way that he moved. And, you know, I'm not saying he looked perfect, because no one is perfect, and clearly the eye is evident of that. But, you know, this kid did well. I love the way that he pivoted. He was giving Ruslan all types of angles. He was digging to the body. And please, guys, don't compare this to Herrera Garcia or Broner Broner Malignaggi. This was not that. This was not that. He was snapping Ruslan's neck back. In the beginning, I will admit, it was, you know, like some pity pat punches, but eventually, so yeah, eventually, you know, he started his punches started to take a toll on Ruslan. I will admit that Ruslan never once stopped coming forward. But fresh off vacation, all the way from AZ to NYC, we got to hang out together. He got to see his boy fucking make history live.
Fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Boxing fans, here is Jameson.
Yo, I still can't get over last week, but this week was still good, man. I really wanted Chris Algieri to pull it off. It's good to kind of see, like you said, he's the Rocky story. I always love to see the underdog, and damn, when we interviewed him through his interviews on HBO and everything like that, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. I mean, it was fan favorite versus fan favorite, and I was just kind of I didn't care really who won. I just wanted the best to come out, and I think the best won, man. I had him up by 2 rounds. I like Algieri. I think not only did he outbox Ruslan, I think he made a statement in that fight to fucking say he could compete with anyone in the 140 division. Anybody, including Danny Garcia, Victor Postal, anyone you want to throw at, man. I think he's not only up there, I think he could actually beat both of them.
Now, see, I agree with you, right? But I'm going to play devil's advocate because, you know, what does this really tell us? I've been saying for years that Ruslan could be outboxed. So much so that when this fight got signed, I was picking Algieri right out the gate. I got my ass kicked so much that I decided to go with a favorite yesterday, and look what happens. The underdog that I had been picking from the very beginning does it, because it's just, I seen it in the Bradley fight, and I seen it in the Herrera fight, and then I knew. So I banked on Alvarado. I banked on him. Not, you know, totally throwing to the wind the fact that he's been in brawls with British Prescott, Herrera, Brandon Rios. Like, why did I even believe he was a boxer? But Algieri was a boxer who didn't stop boxing. Even when that kitchen got hot as fuck, he kept moving and sticking and moving. Yo, man, I like the way that this kid look. You know, I'm not gonna pick him to beat Garcia, because I think that Garcia, you know, I know a lot of people say, oh, Ruslan, he took Ruslan's power, he could take Garcia's power. I don't think so, because Danny catches you while you're punching. Ruslan, whether he clips you or not, you're expecting that overhand right. That's how you're fighting to defend that overhand right and that left hook, because this dude just carries so much power. But Danny's is sneaky power, especially when it's in between punching. Anybody that punches in between, like Marquez when he caught Pacquiao. When you're counterpunching, there's just something about a counterpunch that's a lot more than a brawler's overhand right, in my opinion. But I believe everything is good on my boys' end, so let's bring them in.
He wants a title shot at the beat. He's not even lying. He wants a title shot at the beat.
Say this, I mean, he definitely has the ability to beat any of these guys on any given night, so he can beat Danny. Will he? That remains to be seen. It's a tough fight for Danny if it ever comes off, most definitely. And yeah, we've said that Ruslan could be outboxed, but again, you got to walk through fire to be able to outbox this guy. You got to weather the storm. I mean, he got caught with a shot. One shot right on the right spot, hit that eye just right to make it puff up like that. So people will look at facial damage and they'll say, well, look at the guy's face, look at the guy's face. But any one of us can get hit with one shot the right way. I could punch someone in the face. I had a girl, I was sitting down at a table one time, and my ex-girlfriend was talking shit back and forth with me, and out of nowhere she punches me in the nose, and my nose started gushing blood. That's one punch. So anyone can bust up anyone's face. I mean, that happens in any type of physical activity, any combat sport. But with that being said, Algieri, I picked Provodnikov to win. I thought that Algieri may not be able to withstand that pressure, may not be able to withstand all that power that was going to be coming at him, body shots, left hooks, or what have you. I thought that he wouldn't be able to withstand that throughout the whole course of the fight. I thought it would be an interesting fight, maybe for 6 rounds, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, but I just thought that Algieri would weather. He didn't weather, so I have to give Algieri full credit. I mean, he has a very, very tough style to deal with, very versatile offensively, moves his head pretty decent. He's just well-rounded. And you have to ask yourself, what if the kid did have power? How good would he be if he had more power? I mean, he would be very, very devastating and hard to stop. You know what I'm saying?
What about if not only forget the power, because that's something that you can't, like, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But
you don't have it. That's true.
He needs is a revamping of his entire corner right now. Right now, don't wait for that mistake, because that eye got that bad because that corner man sucked. He was that inswell. He was just smushing it down like if it was ice. He wasn't rubbing the blood outwards away from the eye the way that you're supposed to with the inswell. This dude was a fucking maniac, and then he wouldn't even waste the entire, like, with an eye that swollen, waste your entire minute doing inswell. No, he was leaning on the other side, put in Vaseline. He's a complete moron. And the instruction by the trainer, look, I'm not going to say that the trainer is bad. I'm saying he did well because they were confident on their offense. But I just feel that a few tweaks right now, and this kid could be a superstar.
Yo, that trainer just kept saying the creep. He just, all I heard.
Yeah.
He just kept talking about the creep and shit. He's like, you see that creep? He's getting that creep. You get that creep? I'm going to creep that creep. And it's just shut the fuck up about the creeping.
Let me interrupt you there, because I think that I understood what he was saying and what he meant. When he said use the creep on him, or when you do the creep, is what he was saying. And that's when Algieri would crouch down and kind of stalk Ruslan without throwing a punch. It confused Ruslan.
But you know what the creep is? You know what the creep really is? The creep is when you're fighting, right? And you just edge forward. You don't go. You know how some fighters will just slide forward like little half steps forward without going all the way in. Because if he was to go all the way in, he would be right in the warehouse of Provodnikov, right in the deep inner edges of the pocket. And he just told him to creep in. Don't go all the way in, because that's Provodnikov's game, when you're too close to him. So in other words, he said, just slide up there. Just slide up there. Don't go all the way in. That's basically what the creep is.
Yo, it was just the fact that he wasn't giving him different instructions. He kept saying the same shit and be like, good job on that. Because a lot of times when you see a good trainer, it's like, okay, you did this well, but this is what else we need to work on. It's not saying forget everything I just told you in the last few rounds, now just do this only. It's you got to make these subtle adjustments. I felt he kept bringing the same shit up because he had nothing else to say. He was just like, okay, you're doing all this well. What do I do? Because, like, when we talk about him not having good amateur experience, you know what it showed me last night is that he had zero amateur experience, but competing in kickboxing in a whole nother, like, he was competing essentially in the pros of kickboxing. So let's not discredit that and say, oh, because he wasn't just using his hands. You do use your hands in kickboxing. I feel like it gives him a different intangible, because he was basically, a lot of times in amateurs, you have a different point system. I don't know the point system in kickboxing, but I do know it's clean, effective punching, and it's kicking, and it's a matter of getting out of the way. When you got to dodge huge-ass shins, I imagine that's even that makes you more defensively sound. What I saw last night was a guy with 19 fights that, to me, looked like a guy with 30 fights that's been through a few world championships. He does have areas to improve, But, like, what stood out to me is starting in round 6, he started realizing, and this is a veteran move to me, this is something that B-Hop would do to you. He realized that the ref wasn't breaking him up as the moment we clinch. So he would clinch for a second, spin to his right, and let go a combination when fucking Ruslan was just sitting there. Because Ruslan would sit there and almost expect to be broken up, or Ruslan would sit there and try to just get off one big shot. But Algieri would release his combination, uppercuts, hooks, everything on the inside, and then get the fuck back out. So to me, it's like he did a lot of different things in there. And it's not just the way we were talking about, oh, we knew Ruslan could be outboxed. The way Algieri boxed, though, wasn't just like a normal boxing session. Like, we're looking at someone like Mauricio Herrera with Garcia. I gave Mauricio that fight on simple fact. I thought that he outpunched Danny. He was just, the activity was a lot more. Algieri last night was throwing 45s. He was throwing different combinations. He was befuddling Ruslan last night. He'd hit him with an uppercut and left hook. Then he'd throw a 1-2 combination, left hook, uppercut. No punches would come in the same order. He was just
constantly changing up with the
constantly changing everything. And if you want to talk about adjustments, he really didn't make too many adjustments because he stick to boxing because it was working. But the way his offensive game was letting go, the way he was throwing his combinations, those were his adjustments. And that takes veteran to think about that. You can run all the mitts you want in the gym. 9 times out of 10, we rarely see any of those combinations come through. What I saw last night is Algieri was running mitts on Ruslan's face most of the time. If it wasn't for Ruslan's power, that would have been a complete fucking blowout. And that first round, when he got caught with that left hook and started rubbing that eye really bad, pawing it like a dog, I thought it was over at that point because he was noticeably hurt. But the dude has got a chin. He took body shots. I'm telling you, this guy, I feel stupid for fucking. Again, last week, I wasn't on the show, but I've been saying this for fucking months. I thought Algieri was going to get blasted out of there. Algieri looked better in this fight than he did last fight in his ESPN fight, and he fought Ruslan. And let's be real, Ruslan, again, he gets outboxed, whatever. Ruslan has that intangible that you can't teach, his toughness. What they say, he eats fucking raw-ass, like, moose livers or some shit. So, I mean, I'm really high on Chris Algieri. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, in 140, what I saw last night. But I also got to pump the brakes a little bit because I often, after I see good performances when I thought they weren't going to win, I tend to overhype them a little bit. But I think him and Danny Garcia are the 140s. And I think that Algieri is big enough. If he needs to move up to 147, I think he could do it.
But not only that, if you look at fighters, and you can grab a handful of fighters that are able to do this, a lot of times when a fighter is in a defensive posture, he's looking to get out of the way of a punch. He's on the defense. He's not really thinking offense. And one thing you could see with Algieri, when he was stepping around shots, maneuvering, away from Ruslan to avoid the onslaught, he was always putting himself in position to punch afterward. So he would step around Ruslan, and he would put himself in position where he could squeeze off those short little peppering type punches maybe that didn't hurt Ruslan, but they were pesky. They touched him. They snapped his head back. And I want to get back to the Enswell because Ness made an excellent point. But I want to ask you guys this: we've been seeing a lot of guys in the corner do questionable things when they have puffy eyes, like Matisse when his eye was puffy. They didn't even use an Enswell. They used fingers. And we've seen other guys that didn't even bring an Enswell to the corner. So I'm trying to figure out, is this some type of new, sports medicine or medicinal technology in the corner? I don't know, because I've seen a lot of trainers, or cutmen in the corner, very lax with the use of the Enswell lately. And I'm going to kind of do some research on that because I want to know, what to attribute that to, because this isn't the first time in recent memory that we've seen, a cornerman get lax with the Enswell. And tell me if I'm wrong on this.
I just think I think it's just inexperience of not being able to do it before. The people you just named, Matisse and shit like that, they'd never had their eyes like that until that happened, and they've been with the same training team forever. So I think it's just inexperience. When you got that 1 minute, you're like, oh, I got to put all this Vaseline on someone's face. I got to make sure he's got his water. I got to make sure I'm telling him to breathe. There's certain things that second assistant guy that he's like, oh, I got to make sure I do this before he goes out. Yeah. I think it's a matter of time management. When you got someone like Rafael Garcia or something like that in the corner, he's going to go right at that fucking eye. He doesn't care. You should be breathing. And at the end, right when you're walking up, a lot of trainers, you'll see them, basically you hear your little 10-second warning, they say seconds out, and then they're rubbing the Vaseline on the face. With Algieri, they immediately started diving in with the Vaseline on the face. I think it was a matter of they had like almost like a checklist in their head that all this needs to be done, or we just can't let him out, or like obviously they want it to be done before the end. And I just think they panicked when they saw that eye, kind of like gave up on it a little bit. I think they just need a little bit more experience in that.
Yeah.
But the problem with that eye injury, though, and I don't want to say this to jinx the man, when I saw that eye, I think that eye is going to swell up like that. That's going to be I think that's a reoccurring problem in the future. That's how bad that eye was.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it seemed like as you said, they were a little bit overwhelmed in the corner because he had some issues with the cut on the nose. He had issue with his mouth. So they were kind of bouncing back and forth, and they couldn't figure out what the severity or the degree of severity of each injury was. But it was pretty obvious to us watching that the eye was the worst of the three injuries to Algieri. So that was the one that should have been jumped up on first, but it wasn't. But ironic enough, I mean, Ness made some good points with that. Let's see what Algieri decides to do as his career progresses.
If they worked that eye right, the same way he said that in the 8th round, that's when it started closing up. That's what he would have been saying in the 12th if they worked it right. It was closing, but they could have bought him a few rounds if they did exactly what Ness said, man. Worked that ice, worked it out.
I mean, we saw what Garcia did with Mayweather's cut, and that was a pretty tough cut to deal with. He closed it right away. Go ahead, Ness. You wanted to say something?
No, just inexperience. I think James said it way better than I did. I can see that, like a guy like Matisse and even Algieri, where it's like, you're a hometown guy and, your brother's in the corner and your pops is in the corner. And same thing for Matisse, his longtime trainer's in the corner and probably his trainer's brother. These guys haven't been put to the test until, like James said, until they're put to the test. They're saying, yeah, I'll be your cut man because we're all like a family, but they probably not skilled because what I see, I've never seen no shit like that. I mean, that dude, he should be ashamed of himself, that he didn't cost Algieri this fight because allowing that eye to close up and being such a fucking a horrible worker at what you do. But we're going to take it out to the streets. We're going to get to all these callers. Then we're going to go into Andrade versus Rose because Jesus. Wow. Should we jump into that before we take some callers? I mean, let's take some, they've been out there. They've been out there. Let's take some callers here. 718. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 718. You're live. And Thursday, this was the same 718. I guess you're just listening, brother. All you have to do is not press 1. Let me see. 503. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Josue from Malone, Oregon.
What's going on, Josue?
So I'm calling just. Hey, so I just wanted to talk about the Algieri fight. I picked Algieri to win. I don't know too much about him, but I just picked him because I don't like Freddie Roach fighters. But I just want to say, Algieri is probably the next white American hope. And I like seeing him. He boxed really well. I think he needs more. He needs to tighten up his defense. He got hit a little bit too much. But hey, I wanted to say something. Did that left hook in the first round? Did that remind you of Broner and Maidana? The same way he got hit.
It definitely had.
That's not a bad comparison. It was different though because Maidana came.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying it does have a resemblance.
Yeah, it reminded me too much of it. Like he got caught, he circled too much to his left. I think he needs to work on that, more. I don't know why he kept on doing that. He kept on getting hit with like big left hooks, but I thought the right man won. I scored it for Algieri. I don't know what the fuck that one dude, Steve Weisfeld, whatever that dude's name is. He was saying that he scored a shutout for Provodnikov, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. But yeah, I just want to say that Algieri looked good, and I'm looking forward to more of his fights. I'm happy the Provodnikov his reign is over, and it's time for this new white American hope.
Yo, I can't believe you said that you don't think that he was circling to the right side, because the moment he got caught that left hook, he stayed away from that. He stayed away from that left hook the entire time. He was spinning to his backside, which was his left. So I saw him doing that. I thought his defense, I think he needs to probably work on his defense the most, but I don't think his defense by any means was bad. He would exchange with Provodnikov, and then he would just dip down, and you see Provodnikov swing and miss a left hand over. Like he's like, all right, I'm going to throw these 3 punches, and then I'm going to dip because he's going to try to exchange with me. Bop, 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 gets down, and then it happened.
Yeah,
I thought he looked good.
Not only that, but even when he got hit with the left, he always had his right hand up. Like his hand
just blocking him.
That right hand was practically glued to his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know,
well, let's not forget the guy was making Ruslan Provodnikov miss, and he only had one eye. I mean, how can imagine slipping shots with one eye? You know what I'm saying? Like I got to give this guy a ton of credit, man. I didn't think he was going to win. I just didn't think he was going to win.
And speaking of fucking Steve Weisfeld and their stupid broadcast team, we talked about this often. They were trying to big up Ruslan this entire fucking fight. That moment, I think it was like in the 8th round, that Chris Algieri was throwing some feeler punches out, and he threw, I think, a jab cross left hook, and he missed all 3 of them just because he was trying to gauge distance and try to figure out where Ruslan was. And they're like, oh, look at Ruslan. He has Algieri missing the entire fight. I'm like, what? He's making fucking Ruslan look like a punching bag right now, and if you can't tell those are feeler shots, I don't know what to fucking tell you.
What about Max Kellerman with his so-called group bias?
I'm so tired of hearing that.
I got caught up because I saw the blood on the face. Again, that was one punch that caused that eye like that, and it was just that things happen like that. I mean, since when is facial damage part of the criteria of scoring a fight? One punch. Anyone can walk up to me right now and punch me one time in my nose and break it, and I'm done after one punch. Now, if I continue to fight on and I box your ears off and you look prettier than me at the end of the fight, this is not Mortal Kombat. You don't get points for fatality. I think that's not how you swear. People need to stop with this fucking facial damage bullshit. They really need to.
Yo, it's funny though when they were bigging up. I think it was Jorge Linares. Yo, dude was like waterfalls against DeMarco, like everywhere blood. They like cuts over both eyes on his nose, but they all had fucking Linares winning. It's funny they pick and choose. All of a sudden, like if they won, if Ruslan won, they would have been like, see, we told you, clean effective punching is what everybody should be scoring. But because they lost, they're like, oh, maybe I was being a little bit biased. Maybe a little bit. I swear being biased is in their fucking job description. I'm so tired of that shit.
But if you admit that on the air, okay, if you're an HBO analyst and you admit that you're being influenced by your colleagues, let me just use an example. This is why I love Showtime's commentators so much more, because everybody except for, I think, Mauro Ronaldo scores the fight. Everybody has even Brian Kenny, he'll have a scorecard at the end of the fight. And guess what? They all disagree with each other, and then they sit there and explain. Okay, Al will be like, well, Steve Fahad, your scorecard's a lot different than mine. Explain to me why. It's like they're open-minded about scoring. Like Jim Lampley and fucking Max Kellerman and if it's Roy Jones, they take a look at Steve Weisfeld's scorecard and they take a look at Harold Letterman's scorecard, and automatically that's gospel. And if anyone has a different scorecard than that scorecard, then it's a gift decision. It's a generous decision. And that's so narrow-minded. Like, I had that fight a draw. If you tell me Provodnikov won, I'm not going to say that you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? If you tell me that Algieri won, I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I'm not going to sit there like, after watching this sport for so long, some judges are just going to score rounds for the guy that moves forward, the guy that creates the aggression. Some judges are going to score action. They're not going to score technique. They're not going to score defense. They're not going to score a guy's ring generalship. Okay, you could sit there and say all you want. Provodnikov landed the hardest shots, but if you really look closely, a lot of the shots he was landing, even though they were hard, a lot of them were being partially blocked. A lot of them Algieri was catching at the end. So you could really pick a handful of punches, and maybe I'm being a little exaggerating here. You could really pick a handful of punches that Algieri was really hurt with in that fight. You know
what's funny too is that I think that Jim Lampley, for the first time last night, I think he had Algieri up on his little mind scorecard, because you hear Steve Weisfeld say like, "Oh, I got Provodnikov winning like 5 of these 6 rounds," and then Jim Lampley's like, "But if the judges had it other way around for 4, you'd be okay with that, right?" And it was just, to me, it was like he was speaking for someone else, like playing the devil's advocate, but not admitting that he thinks that Algieri's up. I never say this, but Andre Ward was the only one last night that was keeping it real. But he did have a failsafe, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, he did have a failsafe.
But he had Algieri winning, and then I had Algieri winning. I went back and watched it again this morning. Scored the same fucking shit, same round, same everything. So I was just like, I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, Steve Weisfeld, this is the worst Weisfeld card I've ever seen, I think, ever.
Let me take it back out to the streets, guys, because the phone lines are really lit up.
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Well, good evening, guys, and congratulations to Antonio and the rest of you that had the guts to come out here on Thursday and pick Algieri, because the rest of us didn't know what we were talking about because we didn't expect what happened last night. So congratulations to all you that had the guts to do that. God, I could not agree with you guys more. Watching HBO boxing is just, it's becoming a pathetic, futility type thing where you know what, you have an idea who they're going to root for before the fight even starts, and they'll do anything to prop up their fighter, even though he's in a tough fight or he's losing or whatever. Again, HBO has definitely got to make some changes. Showtime is their announced team, and the way they put on fights has gotten so much more better than HBO. It's pathetic, and they need to do something about the way they televise fights. That performance last night was awful.
Well, why do they feel the need that they have to defend Steve Weisfeld's scorecard or Harold Lederman's scorecard? It's okay to disagree. Like, Brian Kenny always disagrees with a lot of the guys on the Showtime panel. So does Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie Malignaggi, if he scores a fight a certain way, Al will say, well, mine's different, Paulie. Why? Paulie's not going to sit there and waver. I mean, with all due respect to Andre Ward, yeah, he kept it real. But he was letting them talk him out of what he felt was really happening. And that shows a little bit of I don't want to insult the guy, so I'm just going to say, tread on it very lightly, that it made him look a little bad. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to insult him.
It comes down to this. When you watch a Showtime fight, whether it's Showbox, Extreme, or regular Showtime, or pay-per-view, all of the people except for Moronello are scoring.
That's what I said earlier, yeah. That's what I said earlier.
On one person to score.
Well, that's it. And then Jim Lampley would be like, well, I don't score fights. I think, who was this? Robert Ortiz was interviewing Jim Lampley, and Jim Lampley openly said, hey, I thought this guy won, but I don't score fights. So if you don't score the fight, then how could you sit there and say that the guy that won got a generous decision? You're not scoring the fight, Lampley. So like, how could you just determine that?
And I wouldn't even have a big issue with that if he wasn't so a matter of fact about it every single fucking time.
Exactly. It's like nobody can disagree with Harold Lederman or Steve Weisfeld. Like Harold Lederman's the best scorer in the sport. No, he's not. He had every fight for Pacquiao, and I thought that Marquez clearly won the third fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can a guy, and he also had what's his name there, over Cunningham there, Thomas Adamek over Cunningham, when I felt that Adamek clearly won the fight, and a lot of people agree with me. So how can this guy be like the best scorer of all time, according to Lampley? Like, they prop up their scorers. Go ahead.
We got some callers here. Robbie, you want to finish up? Because we got to get to all these callers.
No, I mean, and as far as the Andrade fight, he did what he was supposed to do with the competition in front of him. Thank you, UK, for sending over somebody that wasn't competitive. And that's all I can say about that. I'll be here for the whole show, Ness, so if you want to come back to me, I'll be here.
All right, brother. Well, I disagree on the Andre fight. I mean, Andre did do what he was supposed to do, but I think that he went levels above of what was expected. I don't think, people wanted him to win, possibly by knockout, but I think he looked really good last night. it reminded me of Devin Alexander, Lee Purdy, but let me move on because, like I said, there's a lot of callers in. I know that Link is on the line, and he's one of the guys that one of the few that I remember picking Algieri. So Link, I'm gonna get out to you in a few. 414, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 414, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, what's up, brother?
Hey, it's Scotty from Milwaukee. How's it going?
Scotty, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man, not much. So a couple quick things. Watched the fight last night. Wasn't too shocked about that fight. I had Provodnikov too, admittedly, but it kind of made sense when you saw the styles that he lost to before. But big shout-out, actually, you know what, to the ref and to the doctors and to everybody who let that fight continue, because that was a great fight, great comeback. And if they would have stopped that too soon because of that eye, I mean, they could have stopped that in the second round, just looking at that eye, and they made a good decision finally and let that go on and gave us all a good fight.
I'm really glad you said that because, dude, on that 12th round when that doctor was pushing in it and they took a few extra seconds before Algieri came out, I was like, no, don't fucking do this. Seriously, don't do this. I thought they were going to call it at the end of that 11th going into the 12th. I honestly was so nervous about that. But you're right, man. Shout out to them. You know, they did real good. I'm glad that they let that keep going, but I was real nervous about that. I was nervous about him getting robbed too, man.
Yeah, I was too. I had it 114-112. But the other quick thing
That's exactly what I had it.
Is, you know, Ness, I was texting you while I was out there, or before I was out there. I was at the Boxing Hall of Fame weekend for the 4 days, and that was a trip, guys. Everybody was so accessible. I got probably about 100 pictures with different fighters, referees, promoters, a ton of autographs. It was a hell of an event. It was my first year there. I'll probably go back every year. It was a cool experience, and for a boxing fan, it's a must-go, let me tell you. I was there Thursday through Sunday, and all the speeches, all the autograph signings, all the meet and greets, it was cool.
That's awesome, man. I've been out there. To me, it was a little smaller than what I expected because when HBO puts the cameras on, it looks like it's so big, but it isn't, right? It's kind of like a couple rooms and it's over.
Yeah, I mean it's one fairground and there's one main restaurant and everything is pretty compact. Yeah, but fighters just walking around, you can just walk up to them and like I said, everyone's really nice, really accessible. Everybody's really happy to take a picture or sign an autograph. It was pretty cool. It was definitely something to do.
So, where do you want to see Chris Algieri go from here, though? He's now with Top Rank. He's Banner, right?
Yeah, no, he's
Star Boxing. He's Star Boxing.
Star, okay, but yo.
And that's something right there, James. Just think about that. Both of these guys last night are champion, and both of these guys are Joe DeGuardia, the little guy coming through.
I'd like to see them beat Broner next. I think that would be a good fight. Broner's, kind of slick. I think Algieri's slicker, but Broner has the power. I think that would be a good matchup.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath on that one because this HBO Showtime thing it's gonna be something that's gonna ruin that. We'll possibly see Algieri versus Victor Pistola next, which would be a very tough fight because they're both light punchers and both good boxers. But Algieri definitely is my style of boxer. He's slicker than Pistola, but sometimes that machine technical boxing, it does better. Because you conserve energy.
We'll see what he's like when that jab is pumping into his face, too. That's the biggest issue. A lot of boxers, when you're able to outbox someone, they really thrive. But when you run into the ring with another boxer, that's when you have issues because it's not often you run into someone that has the skill level as you do. So you're not able to take advantage like you normally do. So Victor Postal's real good. He's got we see a little bit more power than I think that Algieri does. But Algieri just has a snap on his punch. That's why when people were comparing this to Mauricio Herrera versus fucking Danny Garcia, I was like, Herrera his activity level was there, but I think that Algieri had a lot of pop on his punches. Maybe I'm the only one.
he was never in control. Algieri was in control of this fight, except for the very few times that, not few because it happened every single round, but he found ways to get off them ropes smoothly, instead of just taking body shots like he was in the first 2 rounds. This kid can take a punch. He took a lot of punishment. Scotty, I'm going to go ahead and let you go unless you got anything else for us, because we got a lot of callers and we just this fight was that good. It has us talking too much.
No, that sounds good, guys. I'll be listening to the rest of the show, and we'll catch up with you later.
Yo, right. Did anyone else notice how bad those rope ties were? That because Algieri kept sticking his ass out between the ropes, they'd separate, and then the rope ties would move closer to the center. No one adjusted them. They just sat there. No one fucking adjusted. He would have fallen out of the ring if he didn't. He actually was like, if you saw in the first part of it, he'd use the ropes to kind of hang off back. Like he'd kind of hang into him a little bit and use his ass basically going in between the ropes as like a slip, to use to get extra room against them.
Like a wrestler's move.
You got it, but he had to stop doing that because he was afraid to fucking fall out and no one moved the goddamn rope ties.
But James, to your very same argument, did you see, I don't know if it was the fight before or that fight, but the referee moved.
That was that fight. He had to move it out of the way. Yeah, dude. There was someone there that was not doing their fucking job.
That's false. Not the referee. The judge. The judge with the brown blazer on. Let's go out to the streets. Guys, us hosts here, let's not talk. Let's let these callers talk and get to some, because there's too many. And we keep every caller has banter that we want to get involved in, because this fight was good. 901, you're live on the Boxer Voice. Who's this?
What's up, Kinfolk?
What up, Blunt?
What's up with you? I had to fight 116, 114 Algieri. I want to ask all y'all a quick question that goes for everybody on the panel. How come I never see y'all score even rounds? I mean, you, B, James, I never see even rounds when people post their scorecards. Like, I post my scorecard last night after the judges did theirs, and I post mine on Twitter, and you can check that out for yourself. But some of those rounds was even rounds to me. That's me. People saying how his eye was all fucked up or whatever, but that's to defeat the purpose of him getting his ass outboxed for most of those rounds. And some of those rounds was even. Like round 8 I had even. Round 4 I had even. I mean, how come people don't score even rounds sometimes? I mean, it was like a chess match in those rounds to me, so I just scored even.
Man, none of them, in my opinion, and I don't disrespect, I'm not taking anything away from yours. None of them rounds was even to me. I mean, I probably had the worst scorecard on this panel because I had every round for Algieri besides the 2 knockdown rounds. Every round. He was doing way better work.
What was your final scorecard? That was the score.
Pull it up right now. I'm gonna pull it up. But he wanted answers from all 3 of us. I answered mine because we gotta get.
I hate scoring even rounds because to me it just shows indecisiveness, and I practically never score a round even. I like to just really analyze the round because I like things to be definitive. I don't like leaving things out there, to hang, leave them out there to hang. I like to make a definitive call on something, and if I could sit there and see both sides of it. Maybe this guy could have got it, maybe this guy couldn't have got it, but I don't know. It's just. I just think if you're scoring a fight, you should try your best to not score even rounds. You should come up with a definitive winner of the round, unless something happens where a point gets taken away. But that's just not I've never scored even rounds. I don't like doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. Every time if it's close, I give myself the minute in between rounds to kind of sit there and think about what happened. Yeah. I try to think about everything, because I break when I score, I go by halves. I do the first half of the round, who controlled that, and I do the second half, who controlled that. And then I go, well, who did better? If it was like Algieri controlled the first part and then Provodnikov controlled the second, whose was better to me? And then I usually give the round. But if I hear that 10-second whistle when they're about to come out, I do gun to my head. Who do I thought? I just go with it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like everyone else. Sometimes I score a round where I'm like, I'll go back and I'll switch it. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't do even rounds unless I watched it a few times. And then I'm able to sit back and be like, all right, I can't pick. That's really an even round to me. Because there are rounds that I think that are even, but I score like I'm a judge. I have a gun in my head. I'm just going to go with it. Boom, here we go. Because they could score even rounds too, but it's like E-Plug said, man, it rarely fucking happens. Am I against it? No, but for me personally, I have to pick someone.
Yeah, I didn't even answer that part of the question. I don't. I answered it differently according to the fight, but I don't believe in that either. I never give a 10-10 round. That's I don't, and I guess you can do it because on my app you can definitely do it. I don't know, and I've seen other commentators that are on Showtime and HBO do that. I don't, for whatever reason, I just don't like that.
Most judges don't do it either because they're told not to do it. Because, I mean, you got to teach yourself to just really analyze the round and sit there and say, well, you know, I think this guy edged it out because he did this, or this guy maybe edged it out because he did that. By saying it's 10-10, it's kind of, you know, not to insult anyone, it's kind of a cop-out, in my opinion.
You know what, too? I want to kind of keep this alive for the theme of the show because I think it's kind of interesting. Steve Weisfeld did bring a little bit. It's just something interesting to me is that he said there's no direct equation for what cancels each other out. Does 5 soft punches cancel out 1 hard punch? When you guys call in today, just give us a quick description on how you score, because to me, if you hit the dude 5 times and it's soft punches, that's better than your 1 punch unless you're on wobbly street. If you're sitting there on ice and you're walking around and you were like Sergio Martinez in that first punch from Cotto, that's the different story. But these big hard thuds that fucking Ruslan was hitting him with, I just could not erase the activity that Algieri had. So I'm interested because every time we've ever got discussions, you guys know I favor boxers. I favor that punches. I favor the activity. And that's how I am, because I feel like realistically every punch has a toll. Everything, it takes a toll in your body. And if you have a strong chin, those big punches, Algieri had a chin last night, man. He had a chin. He went down, but that motherfucker should have been out many times. He got caught with some serious left hooks. And all I'm saying is I want people to talk in. How do you score a fight? Do you score activity? Do you score hard punches? And if you do score hard punches, how many punches does it take for you to sway the other way? You don't have to say 5, but you just give us a brief description of what you think it is. I want to know what people think.
Well, the worst thing about is what Steve Weisfeld and Harold Letterman do is a guy will be winning the whole round, and then at the end his opponent may land a big punch. And, you know, maybe it's a big punch, maybe it snaps the guy's head back. Or maybe I could see if it staggers him and he almost goes down. That's one thing. But they'll land like a big punch and automatically they'll give that guy the round and it'll cancel out the entire work that the other guy did. And I hate when Harold Letterman does that because he does it so many times. He does it, and I just can't see him doing that.
Lampley does that shit all the time. Somebody will land a left hook at the end. He'd be like, "Oh, that could have won him the round.
Why?
That could have stole the round. Why would that have stole the round, motherfucker?"
Why?
Yo, I gave round 6 to Provodnikov only because I thought that was a close round, and that left hook he caught him with at the end was wide open. He just ate that. So to me, the only reason why I gave that round to him because of that, because it was a close round.
There wasn't a lot of activity from Algieri in that round, and that was the one decisive factor that swayed it to give it to Provodnikov. I agree.
Yeah, if I'm on the fence and I see that, I'm okay with it. But a lot of times they'll be like, Algieri be winning the entire fucking time, and then all of a sudden he gets cracked, and then I hate that so much. Oh, that could have won him the round. No, it couldn't have, motherfucker. If you knew boxing. And what kills me is I know these dudes know just as not much, if not more than me, but they just don't use their knowledge. It's almost like I feel like that parent talking to like their son, saying you're not applying yourself correctly. You're a smart kid, but you're not applying yourself. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not applying themselves. They're allowing their dumb biasness. And maybe I'm not getting paid a couple $100,000 to do commentary on HBO, and I want to keep my job. But at the same time, there should be some sort of integrity behind the fucking announcing. If you're going to broadcast out to millions of people and you're going to explain what's going on in a fight, you should know what's going on at all times, and you should have integrity to explain it correctly.
I mean, bottom line is this. Our listeners are smart enough to know that if a man tells you he doesn't score the fight and his job is to commentate on the fight, how does he know who won the fight? You can't just keep a mental notebook of who won what round, because at the end, regardless of who you are, unless you're fucking Mav Wiz, you're going to forget some rounds. You're going to forget what rounds you gave to who at that. So please, with that bullshit, let's take it out to the streets and try and do a better job this time. 619, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hello?
619, you're live.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, what's up, brother? Talk to us.
Nah, man, I was really impressed with Algieri, though, man. I actually was one of the few who picked Algieri to win the fight, but the only thing I was worried about was Provodnikov's power, because I knew he could outbox Provodnikov, but I was just worried, could he take the punishment? You know, but he did it. He showed, like, a lot of heart, and I really want to see him against Danny Garcia, because I truly believe he'll beat Danny Garcia.
I think so too, brother. I'm with you.
All right, caller. I'm going to get to some other callers, but we will talk about it, of course. Yeah, you know, everybody's looking for the next guy to beat Garcia, like everybody's looking for the next guy to beat Mayweather, you know. Every time there's a new hot prospect, he'll beat Garcia. There was a time where Kareem Mayfield had a pretty good following in his home of California when he ran up on Danny in Las Vegas, and everybody thought Kareem would beat him. And look what happened to him by Delorme. Style makes fights, man. Style may fight. Let's not forget Matisse. You guys also thought Matisse would beat him, too. 407, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? .407, you're live.
Well,
all right. Yeah, you there?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here, brother. Talk to us.
How's it going? First-time caller, Boxing MD from Gainesville, Florida.
All right, brother. We're
about
glad
that fight
you,
last night.
called in.
What I saw in Algieri was a true athlete, like a true athlete. No, like, you know, old school boxing technique, like sports science. Like, he was in shape, and he was able to maintain stamina through an eye that couldn't even see out of. It was, like, incredible. I think it was really more like his boxing was extremely clean, but I think what we saw was, like, a true athlete, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. His energy level from round 1 to round 12 was there. But you also got to remember, too, I mean, this is not taking any shots at him whatsoever. He has a master's degree, I think they said, in nutrition. So that dude takes care of himself. And it's not like it's like, oh, like a lot of these fighters. Look at Adrian Broner. Yo, dude looks like Rick Ross when he's not training. He gets fat and grows a beard, and you can tell he's not taking care of himself. Chris Algieri, when he's not training, is training other people, or he's doing something. So his I guess, overall picture, like you say, he's like a good athlete. I think it's also because we're seeing a testament. Look what's going on with Bernard Hopkins. I think what we're seeing is that it pays to stay healthy, to stay in shape when you're not in camp. Because look at him. He never he never takes a step back, is what that says to me. You're constantly improving. You're never going to get fat when you keep eating right and you're working out constantly. You're not going to lose any stamina. So I think you hit it right on the head, bro. I think that really impressed me too, man. I'm glad you brought that up. Not many people talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, people talk shit about his background, you know, him having, you know, kickboxing and fighting MMA, but, like, I mean, the kid's been a top-level athlete for, you know, years and years, and I doubt that the majority of the amateur boxers, even at his age, when he was probably kickboxing, maintained the type of health and nutrition that is required to fight at that level, which, I mean, honestly, I can't see Ruslan. I don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't, but it has to be a fact.
I don't know why people would even talk shit about that kickboxing career. Here's a world champion kickboxer. You use your arms. And I think what it showed last night is that dude knows how to create angles. You know why? Because he had good footwork from kickboxing. He's got good hands from kickboxing. So if that footwork doesn't come around every day, that guy, he knows how to maneuver. Why? Because he was worrying about how to maneuver for his foot, like his kicks or whatever the fuck. I know nothing about kickboxing, so I'm not going to pretend. But it does make sense for you to have to do footwork to get your feet in certain positions to be able to throw kicks at someone's head in a stationary target. His angles last night were just tremendous. He knew exactly how to turn Ruslan. And to me, that's shit that, let's remember, this was his 20th fight. I thought he was going to lose because there's no experience there. I thought he was going to lose because he hasn't taken the punishment. But like I said, when I saw him in this ring, it seemed to me he looked like the champion. It didn't look like Ruslan. He looked like the champion to me.
Well, 407, 407. We want to thank you for calling in. I know it's your first time. We're glad you lost your virginity here on the Boxing Voice. We hope that you continue to call in and definitely go to iTunes and drop us a 5-star review. Absolutely free. Man, look who's here. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Let me get to my boy. It's Jose from Canada, guys. Let me pull him something up that I made for him specially.
I'm taking too long with this amateur guy. You ain't wet nobody, nigga. You Canada dry.
Yo, some more Drake for you and Chemo.
Man, you know what? Introduction and all, man. I'm not going to be nice to you, buddy. You deserve an ass whooping today. Let me give it to you. You ready for it or not?
It's not an ass whooping. It's a Canadian finger to the chest, eh? It's a finger to the chest.
It doesn't even matter, Jose, because
it.
the only thing you can say is that I'm jinxed, that I flip flop. But the case remains that I said Algieri would win for months. So
no,
go ahead.
But you know what the problem is, man? Last week I called in and you said I pick favorites. The reason why I do that, I do pick favorites, but I'm able to pick out gems once in a while, and I'm able to pick up the upsets or things that people go against. What you didn't have, my friend, was the balls to stick to your conviction. So, therefore, all the smack you talked means nothing, man. The one chance you had to justify all the boxing knowledge, all the fights you watch week in, week out, hosting the show, all that could have been justified, and you could have been, you know, just put on a pedestal. But
Jose,
you didn't have the balls to do it, man. You didn't have the balls to do it.
Jose, you saying it is vindication enough, because you are basically reiterating what I'm saying, that you heard me speaking the Algieri gospel for months and then was afraid to pull a trigger because I had got gang raped for 3 weeks straight. Hey, kill me. But the fact remains that for those build-ups, no, excuse me, my friend. The fact remains that for the build-up of this fight, I told you what would happen. And for the beginning of time, I told you that Ruslan could be outboxed. So I still elevate myself to Nostradamus status. And we all know what that means. Nostradamus. Knock it off.
I don't know. I think you can ask Beeb, man. It's like saying a bet's a bet. You can't say, but I chose that one. You're like the guys that are talking about, oh, secretly in my mind, I had Cotto winning. You know what I mean? So
hey,
I think you just got to take your lumps. It's a big loss for you. I am taking my lumps.
But I am taking my lumps. I picked Ruslan Provodnikov. I picked them. But everyone can go back to the last show and hear the way that I picked them. And you want, if you want me to paraphrase, I said something like this, and it's going to be very similar. I'm picking Ruslan because I need a win. But I want Algieri. Come on, knock it off, Jose. Don't be mad at me. I don't hate him. I love him. I replace him with another one.
Hey, listen, I picked Provodnikov too, but I wanted Algieri to win too. But you know,
you gotta trust your gut, man.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, listen, listen. I hear you, but again, you understand why it doesn't matter whether I got the pick right or not. I still prove the point to the listeners about you. You only pick favorites. And look, the favorite lost.
Cotto wasn't the favorite.
My gut betrayed me that day, too. So you want to talk about picking with my gut? My gut betrayed the shit out of me with that and betrayed the shit out of me with Bradley.
Well, he did pick one underdog, Ness. He picked Cotto. We got to give him that.
Yeah, I gave him credit for that. I mean, how many times he's going to ask for credit on that? We talked about that last week. You got credit on that.
But Ness, the thing is,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know what? You had the one chance to really elevate yourself, man, and you blew it.
Jose, I apologize, man. I'm gonna strive to be the great man you want me to be.
You just have to. You know what, man? You have to trust in yourself. You know what? I wrote you a tweet today, man. Pinch your balls, man. If it hurts, you're a man. You know, and go ahead and pick it.
Yo, Jose's about to start quoting that Eminem song to you. That Lose Yourself song.
Remember this on my tombstone. It will always read, the only guy to pick Garcia over Khan and
That's true, man. You can ride with that one for you.
Jose,
like you're telling me.
That Garcia win.
Look, I told you. Now I'm finally here. This room is a fucking studio. I finally put up those moments. I got a beautiful picture of Garcia hooking the shit, right hand, straight right to Matisse, and the other eye, you could all see it close, and I got Khan doing the chicken dance. 8x10, Khan doing the chicken dance to Matisse, because that was an easy pick for me. I did that one 4x6. You know what I'm saying? Listen, brother, I will always have those moments. I don't need the Algieri moment.
Well, man, you might not have another moment, so that's what I'm saying. You gotta get the one.
Strong comeback from the Canadian. I fucking love Jose, man. Jose, thanks for calling in, brother. I'm gonna move on, but I will come back to you if you stick
Shout
around,
out, guys,
brother.
everybody, peace.
609, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Is it me?
You're 609.
That's you if you're 609.
It's Link.
Link, what's up, brother, man? My bad, because there's a few 609s here. I didn't know that was you. But, guys, this is one of the only guys, so I'm definitely bound down. You did have the balls, unlike you went without theory. We salute you. I'm going to actually do what Beeb is doing from in here and give you a round of applause. I remember you picked him, and Antonio from Albany, he's going to get one too because he definitely picked Algieri, I believe. I hope you guys can confirm that. But Link, what's up, brother? Talk to me. You picked them, but did you see it going down like that?
Nah, not at all. Like I was supposed to go to that fight. You know what I'm saying? And they gave me 3-1 on Cotto, so I'm like, the Gennady Golovkin's coming to New York, and so is Kell Brook and Sean Porter. So I'm like, man, let's bet one more time. Bovada, that website I bet on, they gave me 5-1 on my money, so I bet 100, and I got that. I picked Chris Algieri from the beginning. I first saw him fight like 6 to 8 months ago on NBC Sports, and like, he remind me like of Malignaggi, like he can really box. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when they made the fight, I'm like, are they serious? And then I said, 5-1? Let me get that. For me, after 6 rounds, like, I turned the volume down because these guys was tripping. Like, after 6 rounds, I had it tied, and it was like, they just had it a blowout. I'm like, let me just score it myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't listen to this because to me, he boxed masterfully. And, like, the way he was turning them, like, every time he turned them, he would, like, when the referee was coming, he would do a left hook to the body, then a right hand up top, then back up. Like, it was just so great to me. And I was a fan of him before the fight, but after the first round, I'm, like, way more of a fan of him after that. Like, it was just all heart and masterful boxing.
Yo, how great was it to see that family get so happy about that shit too? Him, even a post-fight interview when he swore and he's like, excuse me. I just like that dude. Like, I just think that dude's a great person, man. And I love when I see good shit like that happen. Like you said, man, he's just like Rocky. He's got the personality that you love, and he's got and obviously we saw last night that he's got the heart because, I mean, that eye was fucked up, and he was, like I said, he was clearly affected by it.
And after the 8th round, it was closing, and I'm like, please, referee or doctor, don't do no fuck shit. Like, he's so close. He's in his hometown. Like, if that was a road fighter, I think they would have stopped the fight. But I'm like, please don't do no fuck shit. And then I'm like, please, I think he might have edged it out. And then I'm like, thank God I'm right.
Yeah, when they announced that and the new WBO champion, dude, I was screaming. I thought for sure when I saw it was a split decision and one of the judges had fucking Ruslan up, it was like 117, 111 or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And then they had Algieri's, and I was like, that's exactly what I had. And then I hear the second one or the third judge score. I'm like, fuck, it's gonna go Provodnikov. They're gonna rob him here. And then all of a sudden when they said and new, I was like, oh my God, fuck. I was screaming, man. I love that. I love this sport for that. But I hate that I had to hold my breath like that to see if he was going to get robbed or not. I'm glad that the judges did right by him, but fuck that judge that had it 117 or 111 or whatever he had it. That was wrong. Completely wrong.
And the argument for the soft punches versus hard punches, like, I do it like, if you get outlanded by, like, let's just say it's 30 to 15 hard punches and 30, I'm going with the 30. But if it's like 24 to 20, then, like, the hard guy gets the edges around.
So you do it more like a ratio. You do it like percentages, like 50%. Like, if you go, like, if I double your output, you'll give it to me. But if I'm like a quarter more than you, you'll give it to the harder puncher.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. That is kind of cool. That is a good way. Hey, Link, I'm gonna get to some other callers though, but continue
Go
to
ahead.
bask in your glory, my friend. Continue to bask in your glory.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right, brother. 718, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey yo, Ness, what up though?
What up, QB? What up, my nigga?
Hey yo, my nigga, man, yo. Yo, let me tell you, wait 1 minute, brother. Wait, let me turn this down. Hey yo, my brother, yo, you seen that motherfucking fight, brother?
Sure did.
Did Algieri put a clinic on him or what?
Yep.
Yo, he boxed circles
After
around
getting
that
knocked
boy.
down, he put a clinic on that dude, yo. And yo, his corner, man, they supposed to have, man. That was poor. Fixing him up with that, man. I don't know who was the trainer or whoever was messing. Man, they ain't not messing. His eye supposed to have been down, man. I thought they was gonna stop it, but yo, Algieri, I give him all the props, man. The way he was moving, man, he put on a boxing clinic, yo. I thought they was gonna rob him because it was 117, 109. I was like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. I had scored the fight though. I scored it like 8-4, yo. 8 rounds to 4. That was my final score. Real talk, man.
I think that's exactly what I had.
Other than that, man, yeah, I gave you a 5-star review, man. I think I did, man. I hope I did it right on iTunes and shit.
What name
Other than
you
that,
use?
brother, man, I love this show, man. And keep it pushing, man. Keep it pushing, man. We love this show, man. I'm always listening, man.
All right, QB. Thank you, brother. I hope you put something that we could distinguish as you, because I did see there's like 7 new ones, man. We really want to thank you guys. I do want to take the time to read one of those. There's a few actually, man. You guys are awesome. I love the, when you guys go up there and you definitely support by giving us the 5-star review. And when you leave more than just that show is good, because these are the ones that get seen, the ones that have actual description in there, and it's awesome. It's awesome to know that you guys appreciate all that we do over here, and it makes me want to keep coming back. That's for sure. We got a few more callers. Definitely want to get to them. Let me see. 808, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
What's cracking? That's Real Spitz. Back at it, baby. What's good?
Damn. Wow. Nah, yo, it's been so long. All the way from Hawaii, baby. See, Boxing Voice International. Yo, holla at us, man. What you think of that fight last night?
Oh, and I loved it. But I'm gonna go with my score. All right, which I had what I have 115, 111, Ruslan. Okay, I guess I'm the only guy waving this flag where I am a fan of harder punches as opposed to volume punches. And I'm gonna get right into it, Ness. To me, there is an A side, there's a B side. If you don't understand that, watch the Cotto Martinez face-off. Cotto broke it down perfectly. Now, Ruslan being the A-side champion fighter, okay, I didn't feel that dude Chris took it from him. Yeah, he put on a boxing clinic. He won more rounds. But after every round, I took in effect a harder shot. I took in effect the facial damage, which one of your co-hosts, he doesn't agree with, and I take in effect of who would I rather be at the end of each round. And I'm sorry, it's Ruslan, dude. And I understand what y'all saying.
It's actually
Beef,
not
shout out to
Ruslan.
Beef.
It sounds like
he was
Kellerman
neutral.
to me. It's not Ruslan. It sounds like Kellerman. Who would I rather be? That's a ridiculous way of scoring a fight. Who would I rather be? Because boxing.
Why is it ridiculous?
Because it's a 10-point must system.
It's a 10-point must system.
Body counts just as much as your overhand right. If your overhand right doesn't do any damage, and I just keep jabbing you all night, if we both don't have power, then who's gonna win the fight? The boxer, because he's landing more punches, not the brawler that can't punch. Think about it, man.
Dude,
that's why there's a point system.
Ruslan was on his ass like white on rice. He
wasn't landing shots though. A lot of those shots weren't landing clean.
Hurt him. He didn't phase him. He didn't buzz him. He buzzed him. That was it, dude. Like,
you don't have to hurt him. You don't have to hurt the guy.
Ruslan did not deserve to lose that fight.
Spitz,
you don't have to hurt the guy.
Slinky every time he fucking popped him. His neck was looking like a slinky.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
you
but
can't
check-
penalize someone for not having punching power. You can penalize someone for not throwing punches. If me and you get in a fight and you could punch harder than me, what? But you don't throw as much. You can control how many punches you throw. You can't teach strength, and that's all that's all that was.
One,
Like you
one punch did that facial damage, basically. That one punch blew up the eye. If that determines the whole course of the fight, then I mean that's crazy.
Chris Algieri whimper after body shot. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want to hear that punches aren't being taken in consideration. That's bullshit, dude. And guess what? It just seems to me that everybody on this panel is scoring a fight, a professional fight, a championship fight, as if it's a fucking Olympic-style scoring system. I'm not digging it.
Olympics are different now too. It's a 10-point must system, so it is the Olympic.
Why Olympics don't score body punches and Olympics don't score knockdowns. If you knock a guy down in a round, then you don't get credit for it.
Not anymore.
You don't get extra point.
Olympics are a 10-point must system. Olympics are on the knockdown. I'm almost positive.
Oh, they have the knockdown rules now?
The most Algieri could have gotten close to winning this fight was a draw. Those 2 knockdowns was a difference to me.
I had the fight a draw, Spitz.
Everyone listening, happy Father's Day. Shout out to Ruslan, you won this fight, homie.
No, the one thing I don't agree with is the way when he's saying who would I rather have been at the end of this fight. It's almost like he was saying like, oh, because of Chris Algieri's eye being so fucked up.
It's irrelevant,
when that happens,
man.
I don't give a fuck. After the knockdowns, your face can be looking like the mask, not the Jim Carrey mask, the fucking early '90s mask.
I'll use
remains that there is a 10-point must system. There is no who would
a 10-point damage system.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like let's go back to the days when Chavez fought Taylor. Now, if you want to look at that, Taylor was putting on a clinic, and he was boxing his ass off. He was clearly winning, and he was up on all. He was winning the fight at the end, but he was the one that was pissing blood fucking days after. He was the one that his face was puffy. He was the one that was fucking spitting up blood and shit, but he was boxing Chavez's ass off. So, like, who would you rather be? No, I mean, how does that fit into the criteria? Like, you could land one punch, and every time you land that one punch on me in that round, it could fucking hurt like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. But if I'm landing 20, how do you win the round? Like, how do you know how that person actually feels in the ring? So how can you determine who would you rather be?
Yep, and how do you gauge a hard punch?
You can't live vicariously through a fighter. I'm sorry, Ness.
Tell Will Smith to justify Freddie Roach saying, we need a knockout.
Yep.
Freddie Roach said it, not me. Freddie Roach.
And too many people. Real quick, too many people like to judge.
10-11, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 10-11. Your screen name is 10-11. You're probably named something else, but unfortunately your screen name is 10-11.
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, guys?
Chilling, brother.
I just wanted to say, man, I was real impressed with Algieri. I think more so his composure throughout the fight. I mean, he basically he got, after the first round, he fought a pretty consistent fight. Which is pretty hard to do, especially against a guy like Ruslan. And I think that's what impressed me the most, is the consistent performance. And I was just happy to see him. I didn't come here to make my pick, but I thought I put money on Algieri. I've been watching him for a while now, since his ESPN days, and he's looking good, man. He's looking good. I actually think he'll beat Danny, probably lose to Pacquiao, but there's good fights out there for him.
I think last night proved to me that I thought Ruslan would have no chance against Pacquiao.
You know what's funny? That Bob Arum is already talking Pacquiao. Like, Jesus. I mean, and I'll take it. I'll take it simply because I don't want anything else. It's something fresh. So whatever. Give it to me. I don't even care anymore.
I think it's a bit rushed.
He told Algieri if he won the fight, he'd give him Pacquiao, so.
I don't like that. I'm not ready for that yet. I think he needs
Algieri wants it. I mean, it's a nice payday for him.
He needs to pump his brakes. He needs to sit at 140 and just go ahead and get some more experience under his level. There's plenty of people there you can fight. Give him in there with Delorme. Fucking, I think he beats Delorme, but put him in there with fucking Delorme.
Well, I mean, he has a shot to beat anyone at 140. I mean, it's close.
Give me Hank Lundy. Give me Hank Lundy. I'd be cool with that. Give me Danny Garcia, Victor Postal. There's a bunch of people I'd rather see than him Pacquiao right now. Pacquiao's a whole nother level. I don't want to rush this motherfucker.
I don't know, James.
It's gonna be a money thing. I mean, you don't turn down $2, $3, $4, $5 million. You just
you don't.
I wouldn't turn it down, but I don't want to see me fight Pacquiao either. I wouldn't turn it down.
Hey, check it. Hey, listen. I want everybody, whatever religion you are, to send your prayers out to our girl Heather Hardy. Man, she had an accidental headbutt, so she's got a really bad swollen right eye and a cut. She did win her fight, but you know that's the boxing voice, boo. So you better send your love, send your love. Her eye was examined by the ringside doctor after the 3rd round, and finally it began bleeding. So in the 4th, they just stopped the fight. I think in the 7th round.
She lost.
Yo, Beeb, did you see before he said that though? He looked both ways to make sure his wife wasn't coming.
She lost, Ness?
No, she won. She won.
Okay. That's my girl, baby. That's my girl.
At the time of the stoppage, the judges had it 68-65 for Hardy, 67-66 for Hardy, and while the 3rd judge had it 67-66 for Tervino. So, she won regardless on a split decision, kind of, sort of. Yeah, man, let me see if we got some more colors here. They keep lining up. Derek's dad, you're live. Who's this?
Hey, what's up? It's
Derek's
Mike.
dad, I think.
Mike from Phoenix. What's
Hello?
up, brother?
What's going on, man? All right.
Yo, what part of Phoenix you from?
Oh, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
But what part, though?
Oh, technically it's Mesa, but I say Phoenix because not everyone knows the surrounding cities.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm from Phoenix, too. That's what I was asking.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Mesa.
All right, keep going, though. You're good, brother. What's up?
I had Provodnikov winning the fight when I first saw it. I had it the same as the first judge, 117-109. But after listening to other like analysts and other people, especially this show and other things, I would have to still say Provodnikov wins, but at 114-112 after watching the fight again twice today, because it's been on twice on HBO. Watching it again, Algieri is just a tough motherfucker. You can't deny that. He took tremendous shots to the face and the body, and not so much the body towards the end, but tremendous shots to the face and kept pushing. So I don't take anything away from the win. I just feel like none of the boxers in the fight, there's only 2, but none of them dominated the other one. There was no domination here. Provodnikov didn't just stomp forward the whole fight and just pound this kid in, and Algieri didn't just run around and punch this guy out like everyone says he did. Like he outboxed him so tremendously. I mean, the percentage connects were the same. Power punch connect percentage was the same pretty much. Only 2% and I think 3% and a 3% difference. So it's not like somebody went in there and dominated the other one.
Whoa. No, you're wrong. If you want to use statistics and numbers, he did dominate. Algieri landed 288 punches, and he threw 993 punches. That's a 29% connect. On the other hand, Ruslan only landed 205 and threw 776. So there's a clear fucking gap there of over 200 and something punches where Ruslan had his hands in his fucking pockets. And you don't even have pockets in boxing shorts.
So the person who throws more is the winner. So it doesn't matter if he hits him or not because he threw more, he won.
He landed more punches.
He outlanded him by almost 83 punches.
He outlanded him, brother.
And if you give Ruslan 200 more punches, he's gonna connect more, and the more punches.
Why would you give him 200 more punches if you didn't throw them? Why would you give him 200 more punches if you didn't throw them? So if he throws one punch, that's gonna count as 6 punches. That doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not saying you give him more punches. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the connect percentage. The numbers never lie, right?
Is he breaking up for you?
No. The numbers lie because CompuBox is a person, like Beeb explained to everybody, it's a person clicking a clicker, like when you get on a Great Adventures ride. So if they didn't fucking click fast enough, they didn't give you the right punch count. Or if they
So the numbers lie then.
Those numbers, yeah, they do lie. Absolutely. Yes, they do.
Give it to you.
Yeah, they do.
So So
A human being can make mistakes. Yes, that's a fact. A human being can make mistakes.
Use that as a validation for any point.
We don't use CompuBox on this show. We don't use CompuBox on this show.
My CompuBox is my head, my eyes.
CompuBox should never be your end all because it has human error. So it should never be your end all. I don't mind if you use it as a reference guide. That's cool, but it shouldn't be your factoring decision because it's humanly flawed. It's a man sitting ringside. If he's seen a girl walk by with a fat ass, he's gonna look and he ain't gonna click 2 punches for you. It's a man.
What if his back is to the fighters? His back is to the fighter, or the fighter's back is to him. Excuse me. And a punch is thrown, and he sees the fighter kind of back, move his head back. What if the fighter rolled the punch out and slipped the punch? He can't see the front of it, so he's gonna say the punch landed. There's so many determining factors in that, so that it's not a reliable source.
But real quick, isn't there 2 CompuBox guys in every fight though? Or is it just one?
There's 2 people. There's 2 people. One person counts one fighter. Another person counts another.
He says we didn't let him finish his point, so we're not getting the whole gist of it. Go ahead, caller. I'm sorry.
All right, man. I didn't mean to be rude and nothing, but here's how it is. I felt like no one dominated, and one point of my no one dominated was that it felt like the only reason they gave Algieri more rounds is because he threw more, not necessarily landed more. Now, my number thing was the fact that he only landed 75 to 80 more punches the whole fight. Now, just common sense me thinking, I'm not a boxing analyst. I've only been watching boxing for about 5 years, 10 years, but for me to look about on the outside, kind of looking in and not have the knowledge that you guys so evidently have, my perspective is that the only reason they gave him the only reason that each round went either Algieri or Provodnikov was the judges. If a judge is, like you said, if the judge is gonna come and want the brawler, if he likes brawlers, he's gonna vote that way. If he wants the boxer who runs away, or not runs away, but gets out of the way and punches the other guy, necessarily not hard, but punches him, then that's who's going to win. So this fight wasn't really I hear a lot of people saying Provodnikov beat the shit out of him, or
Algieri. You're right. I had it a draw. I had the fight a draw. I thought it was very competitive.
If it makes you feel any better, ESPN had it for Provodnikov 115, 111, but it's exactly what you just said. It depends on how you score a fight. If you are a guy that likes Gennady Golovkin, Ruslan, and Matisse, you're going to score for fighters that fight that way.
Yeah, you're 100% right. No one dominated the other guy in this fight. I agree 110% with that.
I don't agree with that at all. I could bring up numerous points where I don't agree because he was slipping massive amounts of shots from Ruslan. Ruslan wasn't slipping. Ruslan was catching with his face.
And you have an argument to make. You have a good case.
And he was turning Ruslan and digging to the body. Ruslan wasn't doing that. He was landing punches when Algieri's back was on the ropes. He wasn't creating offense. He was being allowed to get what was given to him. He wasn't doing shit after the 3rd round. It wasn't like he was causing, of course he was causing the damage that he was doing because he was coming forward. But what I'm saying is in the center of the ring where Algieri kept it for a good portion of each round, he couldn't really do nothing. He was just getting punched. This dude was leading with right hands. He was doing his own rendition of Sergio Martinez with his fucking hand, his face out, and then he'll just, boom, one right hand, lead right hand, pop the shit out of Ruslan. His neck will go back like a slinky or a bobblehead. Come on, man. You guys better watch this fight.
Ruslan's lucky he has a thick-ass neck, too, because his head would have been snapping back even more than it already was.
Hey, man. Hey, caller, brother, I got to get to some other callers, man. We got some other people here, but don't hang up. I'm going to place you on mute. We could definitely come back to you because we got to still talk about Andrade because he looked awesome, or Andrade, as he likes to be called. Let me see here. I think this might be my boy, but if it is, I hope, because he does have an official intro as soon as I find it. Where are you? Yeah, I'm slacking.
Introducing to you,
the president, I know you had it for Algieri because you love boxers. You were. I remember you were one of the main guys that loves Vasquez. I don't know. I think you used to like Crawford. So you must have enjoyed what you seen last night.
Oh man, it was just beautiful. I had the same scorecard as you. You know, domination by Algieri. But let me tell you this, and I want everybody to listen to this. How I score fights is I fucking hold out my fucking hands in 2/5, and as soon as blue corner lands a fucking punch, I throw my fucking thumb up. Red corner lands a punch, I throw my fucking right thumb up. So I have a count. Okay, 1 punch for him, 2 for him. I just look at what lands. I give a fuck about a Mayweather defense. You know, that's like saying I don't care about Meldrick Taylor, whatever that fucking dude name is. I don't care about his defense. All I care about who's landing punches. You know, I mean, it's like you see a bitch on World Star that can twerk. Doesn't mean she a good piece of ass. But, you know, and I mean, nothing's wrong. You know why people don't like Olympic style boxing? They say, "Oh, I don't like the punch. I don't like how they're counting punches." Nothing's wrong with that. The problem is they're not counting everything. That's the only reason we're losing in the Olympics, because don't think wrong with it. They're not counting everything. Count the fucking body punch. Count that shit. No, they only count face shots. So, you know, nothing's wrong with that system, but, you know, it's crazy how these people want to score this shit, but I keep a count in my head. That's all I do. And it's so easy. I mean, but I don't care about
But wait a minute, because you're starting to fall into human error here. So you keep a count in your head throughout the round, then you write something down, right?
Yes, whatever the greater number was, the bigger number, it was Algieri all night. You know, that goes for Algieri, whoever has the bigger number. And a lot of times it's just 2 to 3. I'm talking about clear punches. You know, boom. Oh, we saw Provodnikov's head snap back. Boom, that's 1 for Algieri. If he did that 3 times and Provodnikov landed a big hook on Algieri's body, oh well, 3 to 1. Fuck, that round goes to fucking Algieri. That's how I count it, and nothing's wrong with that. And that system has never failed me.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to put you on hold, but don't hang up. You know I'm going to get back to you. I got to get to some other people here. We got a lot of callers tonight. Everybody wants to give their takes, of course, on what took place last night. You know, new champion being crowned.
It's a maniac. It's a maniac. The maniac is running wild like he's never ran before.
It's open.
Maniático.
Yo, what's going on?
Talk to me, brother.
Hello?
Yeah,
man. What a night of boxing, man. What a night of boxing. See, real quick, absolutely, man, respect Algieri, man, for him to fight like that from the second round on, to have the deck stacked against him and to overcome what he did was amazing, truly amazing. And he won the fight in my eyes. I was there live, and I watched the fight again, and I gave it to him. But you see, this is the problem with boxing. He absolutely outlanded Provodnikov, right? So therefore, he should get the decision. But what happened when Paulie outlanded Broner? Why he didn't get the decision? You understand? So you see, this is the problem in boxing.
Paulie didn't do what Algieri did.
And what was that?
Control rounds, control the tempo of the fight, basically.
Yeah, but the thing
Ruslan's
is, it's
pressure.
not controlling.
Ruslan's
I mean, no. When you say controlling, absolutely not. Provodnikov was the aggressor the whole fight. He had Algieri fighting on his back foot the whole fight.
That doesn't mean that he's not controlling.
But
that doesn't mean he's not controlling.
He's not controlling the round?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you listen, right? The 4 criteria that you judge a round is effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, defense, and clean punching, right? But most people, like even Harold Edelman said, mainly, you know what? We score it on clean punching. Who was the cleaner puncher last night? It was Algieri. That shit is it was daylight. Same way Paulie was against Broner. You understand? Now, whether he controlled or not,
he landed the cleaner punches. That's just what it is. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go on a whole big debate about it, but what I'm saying is this is how boxing is. One fight will go to a fighter like Algieri, and the other fight, you saw what happened with Paulie. That's why Paulie was bitching. I know he saw that fight last night and said, yo, what was the difference? So why? I didn't control Broner. Broner couldn't hurt him. He outlanded Broner. Therefore, he won the fight. I landed more punches.
Yeah, well, the difference. See, no, because if no one's gonna, I'm not gonna let you keep comparing it. There was a clear difference. Algieri was landing 3 and 4 punch combinations. Paulie never did that. This was not.
Yes, he did. Paulie fucking land 4 or 5 combinations on Broner, but everybody's
Yo, he would land double jabs to like the chest.
No, a double jab isn't a fucking combination, Sean.
Exactly. That's what he was doing. He wasn't throwing combinations like Algieri was.
Malinaji fight again, and Broner, he landed 4 or 5 combinations, but everybody was crying that it was Mickey Mouse taps.
Yo, Algieri landed lead uppercut left hook. That's professional. Hot boy, skillful shit. Paulie Malignaggi was not doing that. Stop lying to everybody.
Whether you hit, listen, you're not getting it. Whether you hit a home run or you hit a single to get the guy in home, same way, you score, right? The home run is prettier, right?
This ain't baseball.
Algieri might have looked better, but at the end of the day, numbers don't lie, right? The Paulie outlanded Broner. Why he didn't get the decision? Broner barely threw punches, just like Ruslan. And we know Broner doesn't throw a lot of punches, period.
So Sean,
Ruslan is not. But what I'm saying is this, look, we don't want to get into this. What I want to get into is this. I think Ruslan, he gave the fight away. Not that intentionally. I believe he got too comfortable after that first round. So, just like I did. I said, oh, this shit ain't going 3 rounds. And he fell. Algieri was there. He was moving nice. Don't get me wrong. At times he looked like a ballerina in that ring, the way he was moving. But he was there to be hit. And you had mentioned something. Ruslan was not setting up his offense, meaning he wasn't coming in with a jab, to set up combinations. He was just coming in, getting popped, walking through the jabs, and then when Algieri was on the ropes, he'd try to load up. And that's all he was doing. So that's why I have absolutely no issue with this decision, because Ruslan gave the fight away himself. While Algieri was working, Ruslan was part-time. He was a part-timer yesterday, and Algieri was a full-time worker. You understand? He put in more hours, he get paid more. And that's exactly what happened. He got the decision. And I'm glad he got the decision because he deserved it, especially the way he fought with that eye, man. Like, how many fighters would have tapped out fighting a dude like Ruslan? And Algieri has no power. You understand? He couldn't keep Ruslan off him, but the conditioning he was with. And like I said, Ruslan is just like Rios. If Rios is in there with a boxer, he's going to look silly. Plain bottom line, he's going to look silly. These guys, they can't, you understand, they cannot get in there with boxers. They need stationary targets. You understand? And that's not why Algieri was. And Ruslan said that whole style was messed up for him when he said before the fight that Algieri's style wouldn't be an issue for him. That's being a hypocrite. But, I know, I don't know who it was that was saying they don't want to see him against Pacquiao. I mean, I don't neither, but at the end of the day, this is a business. And like you had mentioned, that's if the payday is there, you're not going to turn that shit down. And that's what they want. They want the Pacquiao. And people want to see Pacquiao in there with fresh meat. We don't want to see Marquez 5. If it happens, so be it. But I want to see fresh meat. Not necessarily Algieri myself, because I already know how that fight is going to go. But, I mean, let's be honest. He showed he could bang, man. He showed what he could do, man. And he could probably give back some issues because he could move and he could box. And, you saw Bradley, give Pac some issues. I mean, obviously, Algieri's not on the level of a Bradley, but still, man, styles make fights. And, I think Algieri could give Pac some trouble, but at the end of the day, we don't know how that fight will end up. Pac by decision. And, of course, I know you said about the boo-boo Andrade. I mean, wow, that dude is amazing, man. As long as he stays humble and stays hungry and focused, I mean, without no doubt, I can see him being the best 154-pounder because he possesses absolutely everything an elite fighter possesses. Defense, you know, power, combination, footwork, intelligent. I mean, he just put on a display yesterday, man. I was amazed by it. He's just looking better and better. And, you know, the future's bright for Boo Boo, man. You know, it's going to be tough to beat him, man, no matter who's in there with him.
All right, Sean, I'm going to
get Ness, real quick, bro. But I did a little research while we're gone. This is what the difference is. And now I'm going to have to bring up CompuBox, and this is what I'm talking about. We're going to use CompuBox just to gauge a reference, not to use because I thought it was a fight. But the CompuBox numbers for Malignaggi, Broner, Malignaggi threw 843, landed 214. Broner threw 524, but landed 246. He landed 32 more punches than Malignaggi did. Algieri last night landed 288 to Provodnikov's 205. He hit him with 75 more punches, and he threw more. That's nothing like Broner or Malignaggi.
He hit him with 83 more punches.
83, sorry, what did I say? But whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's like, not only did he throw more punches, he landed way more. So activity, I don't score activity, I score landed punches. If Malignaggi landed 80 more times, I'd have had that. I had that a draw, but I probably would have had that winning, or would have had him winning. Completely different.
Man, at the end of the day, man, you just gotta score a base. I score based on the criteria it's supposed to be scored on. Everybody has it, but that's the 4 ways you judge a fight.
Yeah, but Sean, I'm glad that you brought that back up because I'm gonna bust a hole in that. Then, right? You said effective aggression. Well, Ruslan wasn't effective because on his way in, he was getting his head beat in.
It was just aggression.
You said clean, effective punching. Well, Algieri was the one doing the clean, effective punching. You said ring generalship. Well, Algieri, quote unquote, was being to the ropes, but he was getting off the ropes and countering the aggressor. So has the ring generalship. I'm just saying.
He did, but did I say Ruslan won the fight? I said Algieri won the fight. What I'm saying is, did Broner have all that in the Paulie fight? It's different. It's what the judges, you know, those are the 4 criteria, but do every judge use it in every fight? No, that's not what they do. And I mean, that's just the bottom line in boxing. You understand? That's just what it's going to be. So, I mean that's the only problem in boxing. There's no consistency. But yesterday, there was no argument. I even put it on Twitter. I said, y'all got to eat my crow because I gave Algieri absolutely no chance. Just about 99% of people gave him no shot of beating no Ruslan. And I'll be the first to admit. And after that first round, I said, oh, I knew it. And what he did yesterday was amazing, man. He had that throwback kind of mentality, man. And what he did, he deserves a big fight after that, man. I don't care whether he gets creamed or not. Doesn't matter, man. I want to see Algieri again because what he did was truly amazing, man. And you got to applaud him whether you like his style or not, man. Not too many fighters, you know, wouldn't do what he did, man. They would have threw in the towel early. So that's what it is, man. And just looking forward to these weekend's fights.
All right, Sean. Yo, you know, Sean is right, and we need to, like, at least come back to that because we get so caught up in scorecards and how he scored it and, oh, I picked it. But we're not forgetting the beauty of this sport, which is that dream, man, that kid had. He got called. Yo, this is like being plucked from the AAA. Someone who knows baseball, help me out if I start fucking up this reference, but being plucked from the minors and brought to play for the Yankees, you know what I'm saying? That Robinson Cano story, bro. Robinson Cano, man, for, you know, people don't know this, but he lived on my 3rd floor. He lived right above me, dude. I used to walk down my stairs and watch this dude straight off the boat from DR with a fucking broomstick hitting tennis balls. And this guy is Robinson Cano now. That dream is what Algieri did. He got plucked from ESPN, which is the minors, and he trained. And I laughed at him, even though I said he could outbox Ruslan, I laughed that he's fucking training outside, doing sprints in the winter where there's ice and he could fuck something up. And look at all the while, him and his little team, those inexperienced guys that didn't know how to handle the fucking eye, they still went out there and they did exactly what Sean said, something that's amazing. They accomplished their fucking dream. He's a world champion, and it can't be taken from. This was not a vacant title, and Ruslan is not no cream puff. He beat a world champion to become a world champion, and now his name is being mentioned with Manny Pacquiao. This motherfucker probably still ain't go to sleep from that natural high that he's receiving right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, I agree 100% what you said.
Well, I mean, we chewed it up a lot about the main event. If any of you guys want to call in, 646-478-3068, press 1 if you want to talk. But we're going to get into another fighter that's also accomplishing his dream. When he got the call to face Vanes Martirosyan for a vacant title, he stepped up to the plate. He looked fucking...
He was supposed to fight some like Russian or something like that for that title, so he was already the #1 contender for it. But
he wasn't gonna fight for a vacant. Like, he was supposed to fight the champion, but I think wasn't his name like Bragamar or something like that?
Something I can't ever pronounce. I wrote a story on it, that's why I remember it. But
the point is, he beat Vanes Martirosyan and he looked really good. And then he went out yesterday, and look, I don't want to get overly excited about this win because it had shades of Devin Alexander, Lee Purdy, where it was when an American skillful guy beating up a Euro guy that wasn't skillful. Again, with my additional subscription to Sky Sports, I no longer take shots at UK guys. He was just, like they said on the telecast, levels beneath Andrade. And the only thing that I was content with was that Andrade went above just winning. He was putting on a show. And, credit to this guy, Rose. He was tough. He hung in there for as long as he could. And the referee ultimately had to save him from himself because he was just shelling up, taking hellacious shots to the body. And Andre was just mixing it up so well. But, Beeb, I had wrote this down. And it's specifically directed at you because you and James. James is a fucking training coach now. But so both of you guys, I didn't really like the way Andre throws that counter right. He bends way too far down, and then whoever, like I say whoever because whoever's fighting him at the time ends up right in his house, and it's almost an absolute clinch. Now, of course, there were times where he threw it perfectly, like in the third round where he knocked him out, but. Did you see that? Is that a flaw? What's going on there? Because it seems like every time he tries to wait for the counter, boom, he throws the counter right, but then the guy ends up, right in his chest. It's not like he's going to be able to do anything after that counter because a lot of times he overshot it, it went over the head, and now Rose is right in his chest. Thankfully for him, Rose didn't do nothing once he got there because he was so afraid, But is that a flaw? What's going on there?
It depends who he's in the ring with because I think he did something similar to that when Martirosyan knocked him down with the right hand. Kind of leaned into it. And I believe he was trying to throw that right hook like you said. It could be considered a flaw, but a lot of times when he does get low, he does move his head off to the side a lot. But that goes back to what I was saying about Algieri, not to get off topic. If you're going to be in a defensive posture, and you're in that position, you made a great point. He's only in a position to throw that one punch because the way he's angled off that way. So he's not really in position. If he misses with that right hook, he's not in a position to throw the left hand behind it because he's too far over to the side. So yeah, it could be construed as a flaw. So that could be something he has to work on in terms of positioning. But a lot of times he's just so awkward with his herky-jerky movements that he's able to get out of the way. But again, he can get out of the way, but he's not in position to punch. So in that regard, yes, it could be construed as a flaw.
James, what about you? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I've seen that. I wasn't specifically. Yeah, I wasn't noticing nearly as much as I guess specifically his counter right hand. But what I saw was that I was going to bring it up too. Is that I thought it was his biggest flaw, like you said. But he stays in the pocket too long. He just sits there and he doesn't. It's almost like when he's coming forward, he uses good head movement for his defense. But when he has to go back. He should be like, when you're talking about that counter right, what he should be doing is taking one step back and dropping back real quick and shooting forward with the right cross. He's so athletic that he should be able to do that anyway, and it should be coming. But what I saw last night, though, was I felt like he was complacent. Like he knew he was worlds above this guy. So a lot of this stuff that I saw was more him showboating. His lack of defense was him showboating a little bit more, basically being like, oh, you can't do shit to me. So if I had a complaint, I was going to bring that up, is that he sits in the pocket. He knows his range, but once you invade, you're supposed to get out of there. It was almost like he was like, you can't do shit once you get in here, so I don't have to leave. So, like, it was almost like he was planting his feet, but he should have been boxing and circling and taking that drop step back. Then when he comes on the inside, he doesn't get smothered like you were talking about. Then he can unleash that right cross and actually tag Rose, but he wasn't doing that. Another thing I saw is that I think he could have got Rose out of there. I understand that he TKO'd him and they stopped it, but I think he could have knocked that guy out if he was a bit more aggressive. Instead of a lot of his punches I saw were slapping punches. He did a lot of wasted punching. He would throw a 4-punch combination, all slapping, followed by a 2-punch combination, landing flush or split in the guard. He would go right up the middle on Rose, boom, every single time. What he should have been doing is throwing a left cross and then the right cross and then a right uppercut, because he split the guard, get the chin, go right under a guard. He wouldn't do that. Where he was successful, he wasn't taking advantage of. And where he wasn't successful was his fucking combination punches that were slapping. Yeah, it looked fascinating. It looked awesome. Yeah, he looked so quick. But a lot of them were to the elbow. I felt like if he concentrated more on what we were talking about earlier, effective aggressiveness instead of just being aggressive, I think that he would have been a lot better.
I don't know how much longer I could take anymore of this verbal fucking ass whooping that you're giving Andrade. It's not his fault that Brian Rhodes came into the ring doing his best rendition of Joshua Clottey. If a guy doesn't open up, of course you're going to hit his elbows. But
that's the thing.
You got to change speeds on him. Give him something to make him think. You're not...
It wasn't even that he was opening up. Yo, Andrade was forcing him to open up. He would split that guard and just nail him. He would do it 4 to 5 times in a row. That dude, he would sit there. It was wide open. You'd just have his head, your hands on his side.
He was throwing the right punches to try to open him up. He was throwing uppercuts. He was going to the body.
Punches.
He was going to the body. You know, as the fight wore on, he was trying to get him out of there. You could see. It wasn't like he wasn't trying to get him out of there. He was coming up underneath. He was going downstairs. He was throwing
in the 6th round, in like the 6th or 7th round. I saw exactly that. I saw that he was really swinging him.
Probably should have that. Yeah, you're right. He probably should have started doing it a little bit earlier. But he did do it. He did do it.
He knocked him out in the 7th round. How fast you won it, James?
Because I saw that guy could have been taken earlier. That's my thing. I saw it.
He's a tough kid, though, that kid, Brian Rose.
I'm not saying that he's not. And I'm not shitting on Andrade. Here's the thing, real quick, Ness. Hold on. I'm not shitting on Andrade and saying I don't think he's good. If you go back to listen to all the shows, I think that dude's great. I think that he can actually fight Lara. I think he can actually fight Cotto. I think he's on that upper echelon. But what I'm saying is all these things... Hold on, real quick. What I'm saying is that there was lots of things that he could have done that he chose not to do because he was complacent and he thought he was winning the fight. Or he knew he was worlds above. It was like Michael Jordan playing basketball against me. He's not going to cross me over every single time, but he should be doing that.
I think James' point is if maybe he started fighting like he fought in the 6th round, maybe in the 4th, he possibly could have got a clean knockout.
If he was fighting Brian Rose like he was in there with Canelo... If he was fighting Brian Rose like he was in there with Canelo, he'd have knocked him out in the 4th round.
But that's all I'm saying. James makes a solid point there.
He's a boxer, so he's gonna box first.
With a punch. He has a punch, though. That you can set up. Oh no, boxers do. Hold on.
Knockout, James. He's not gonna look for a knockout. He's a boxer.
No, not true at all. Not true at all. Boxers set up punches. That's what makes them boxers. They use their jab to set up their right cross. They use their jab to throw the uppercut. They use footwork to get in and out. See, don't misconstrue being a boxer for being a soft puncher.
Too, man. They set you up for the knockout.
But the thing about Andrade is you could say maybe he may slap sometimes, but he has the ability to hurt guys. We've seen him freeze guys, we've seen him stun guys, we've seen him rock guys, we've seen him drop a lot of guys. And Brian Rose is a tough guy. So yeah, he's a boxer, and maybe he does like to feel his way through the fight. And you know, sometimes fans want to see a boxer jump on a guy. You know, the thing is we saw him hurt Rose with just about every punch he threw. on more than one occasion. So when you know you can hurt a guy like that, sometimes the urge as a fan is to say to yourself, all right, man, you know you're so much better than this guy. You're so much quicker. You can hurt him. Get him out of there. And he didn't really fight with a sense of urgency.
Yep.
You know, he could have probably fought the 6th round. Could have done that probably in the 5th round, and then you know, by the wear and tear of what he was doing from the 4th on to the 6th, he could have got a clean stoppage instead of having it that way. I know we're kind of picking at little things here and there. It's apples and oranges.
You guys are definitely.
But maybe we think that highly of Andrade or Andrade, excuse me. Maybe we think that highly of him, that we expect that from him because he has the ability to do it in our opinions, and maybe he just didn't do it. You know, and put his foot on the gas as early as he possibly could have in James's mind. And James kind of convinced me of that a little bit now too, because I can kind of see his way of thinking. He makes a valid point.
And it's not criticism that I'm saying this. If I was talking to him, I'm saying it's more constructive criticism. Every performance has flaws. What am I supposed to do? Not talk about what I thought was wrong because I think that he's going to be a good fighter? I can't talk about someone in a bad light like this and without being a hater. Everybody has flaws. Everyone. Tim Bradley has flaws. Mayweather has flaws. All of them have flaws. It's our job to bring them up and tell people what I think they are. You asked me what I thought. That's what it is. I'm not shitting on the dude. I think he's great. I think he's good.
Go back and listen to the replay. You'll hear the way that you sound. That's all. It just sounds like you're criticizing him, like over criticizing him.
Nope. I'm breaking down 2 things. It was not being aggressive and then staying in the pocket too long. That's it. That's not, out of the grand scheme of things, that's not big at all.
Aggressive because he was effective in 7 rounds. Like, he knocked the guy out in 7. You want him to do it in 3. Like, it's crazy.
I think he could have. And that's where I guess why I don't understand why you're coming at me like this. I think the guy was better than what he could have performed last night. I guess that's all I'm saying.
I think he did it when the opportunity arose because he came to the ring with medieval times armor on, dude. This dude did not want to fight. He wanted to protect himself at all fucking times, every single minute. He didn't barely throw punches, this guy. There was a round that I seen CompuBox had him landing 2 punches. 2 punches. Like, what the fuck? This dude, man, listen. And then they don't want me to talk. 212, you're live on the Boxing Voice.
Yo, what's up? This is Danny from Harlem.
What up?
Yo, I just want to ask y'all.
Shake intro.
Yo, whose win is better over Provodnikov, Bradley or Algieri?
Algieri. It meant more to him.
Algieri.
It means more.
Oh man! And what's next for him? Like, what's an ideal opponent for him? Personally, I'd like to see him against Jesse Vargas.
I don't hate that fight. I'd rather post
that fight. Wow.
Right now.
Wow, that's a great fight. I never thought of that.
Push the shit out of Jesse too. Jesse needs to be pushed, man. Ah, man.
That would be a great fight, and he has a strap too, the WBA, right?
Yeah.
WBO? Is it?
Yes, WBA. Jesse.
Who
Vargas.
has it? Oh,
Jesse
Vargas. I thought you were talking about. Algieri won the WBO last night, right?
Yes. Let's not get it fucked up. Jesse Vargas has the regular WBA. You know, my man Danny Garcia has the Super WBA Championship and the WBC and the Spring Magazine.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? Does Danny let you borrow that belt on like the weekends once in a while? Can you keep it at your house?
He takes selfies with it. He posts them on Instagram. This is me with the world championship.
Does he call you up and say, "Hey Ness, I'm gonna drop the belts off. Can you shine them up for me when I get
No, actually, I can get them. One to have in the office here so that I could be inspired for every show. Hey Danny, what's up? What else you got for us, brother?
Yo, nice. I called in last week, and did you watch the Cotto Martinez again?
Hell yeah, man.
Yo, tell me about the knockdowns. Were they clean or not?
Nah, some weren't. Especially the one where I think it was not the first round. With the other one, he
the ninth, I think.
He buckled, and the referee called that a knockdown. And you know, there was one where he put his hand down. I mean, look. Watching it again, his legs weren't there. He just had no back. He was all over the place. He was just wobbly. It could have been I'm not going to discredit anyone that believes it was the Cotto left hand in the beginning of the round. Whatever it was, Martinez was either hurt or his legs were no good, or the punch took away his legs and his knee was good. But what we did get to see, well, I got to see because I was live the first time, so I didn't get to hear that. But you hear Pablo Sacramento pleading, begging Martinez to let him stop the fight and screaming that your knee is no good. You can't move, Sergio. So even though Sergio said in the post-fight that his knee was 100%, he doesn't discredit Cotto's win. The evidence is there.
Did you hear Sergio Martinez, though? Because you said that he quit a couple weeks ago. Did you hear Sergio Martinez begging him to let him fight on?
One more round. He kept saying one more round.
Please let me go out there.
When Pablo Sacramento got up, he didn't even shake his head. Like, he didn't throw it. He didn't pout. Like, he was happy that his coach saved him. Come on, let's not even fucking.
You think so? I don't. You could be right, mate, if you want to go by body language. But if you were listening to the interpreter, it gave you the impression that he was begging him to let the fight go on. I don't know.
Well, don't listen to the interpreter because I
no,
understand
he wasn't
Spanish.
begging him.
I understand Spanish, and he was not begging. He was saying one more round. But when a person's talking, you got to see you got to look at them and look at body language and the way. One more round. His trainer was begging. His trainer was saying, Sergio, please, no, come on, Sergio. No, I know you, Sergio. You're my brother. You're still a champion to me. Don't worry about it. Your knee's no good. Man, he told him everything.
That was so touching when he said, you're still a champion to me. Please, you're my brother. I got to give, a lot, like, no disrespect. Robert Garcia probably would have sent him out if he was in the corner. That's just the way he is. I'm glad that Sarmiento, decided to use some compassion and looked out for his fighter.
Yo, Goosen would have picked him up off the fucking floor, drag him back to the corner, and make him continue.
Yeah, man. Some trainers are just like they're just heartless like that, man.
To play devil's advocate to myself, you may be right, and Martinez probably was begging because, for one reason or another, Pablo Sacramento got that emotional. To get his point across.
Yeah, man.
Martinez was also emotional in getting his point across that he wanted to continue, but the knee was a problem because it was stated in that corner.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to sit there and lie after I told you that the knee was going to be a problem months ago. I told you the knee was going to be a problem. I'm not going to sit there and lie and say, hey, it wasn't a problem. But with that being said, the level of dominance was very impressive. I don't think I didn't give Martinez one round. So I have to ask myself, what happens?
I gotta call a football play, flag on the fucking field. Danny, I'm about to fucking eject your ass. Look at what you did. Algieri did something amazing, and we're still talking about Cotto. It's all your
my fault.
Algieri shine, man. You taking Algieri?
No, man. I just had to bring it up. I just want to clear that up.
You got anything else for us, brother? Because we got some other calls here.
Yeah. One last thing before I go about this Crawford-Gamboa fight. Like, I don't even know who to pick, man. I need your help.
Take Crawford, brother.
And Algieri breathed new life into me. I always pick the boxers, and finally the boxer came through, so I'm sticking with the boxer. Even though Gamboa could be, categorized as a slick boxer, but I don't like his fundamental mistakes. He leaves himself open. He's already got a weak chin. He's moving up to a bigger division. This smells like trouble. It smells like Cotto Martinez, but guess what? Crawford's knees are 100%.
If that's 3 weeks in a row and I get fucked over by Crawford, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Crawford has no injury that we know of. Listen, don't forget, guys. Beeb gives you the fucking betting advice. I don't know if he's gonna use this in this bet, but Crawford has fought at 140. He manhandled British Prescott. British Prescott went to war with Alvarado. British Prescott knocked out Amir Khan. Crawford, a career 135-pounder, moved up to get his shot on HBO, and he manhandled Prescott.
Beat the shit out of him.
He moved down, went across the pond, beat the shit out of Ricky Burns. Yo, Gamboa ain't been there.
One thing I'll say about Gamboa is that his speed is going to be a lot. I'm interested to see how Terrence Crawford's going to handle Gamboa's speed, because that's
speed and the power.
What kills speed? A jab. A constant jab in your face kills that speed.
I don't know. I think Gamboa counterpunching.
This dude Crawford can really, really establish distance very well. He's very good on the outside, and he has long arms.
Beautiful left hook.
Yeah, he's a conventional boxer with athleticism. That's fucking dangerous.
And don't forget that he can switch from right to lefty.
This fight's going to be tough for Gamboa.
Throughout his career, one thing that we can say is he's always had explosiveness. He's always had decent power, but he's always had bad balance, and he's always had a shaky chin. 5'6", you're having a boxing voice. No, 5'16", sorry.
Yo, what's up? This is Kevin Horn from Long Beach, Long Island. How you guys
Kevin,
doing?
what up? Damn, you definitely happy. You from Long Beach? No, wait.
Long Island.
Wrong line. Is it the same Long Island as Algieri?
Yeah. They're both from the same borough.
Is the same Long Island as Algieri?
Yeah.
Yeah, Algieri's like he's down the island a little bit. I'm from I'm the one who be tweeting you out. I was with Vic yesterday with Sean Monahan over there. That's my town. But Long Island was big in the building on Saturday. Real big in the building.
Yeah, did they say he sold 1,000 tickets?
He personally sold 1,000, but there was an actual, like, 'cause, you know, he gets a group of tickets to sell on his own through his manager. But he also they did a polling with the Barclays executives with surveys of I think it was like 70% of the 6,000 tickets sold, and over 90% of the people said they bought tickets for the Sean Monahan fight. So he did big numbers there yesterday. But yeah, it was big over there. But the place emptied out after he fought. By the time Provodnikov fought, there was probably like 2,500 people in the stands.
What the fuck's the matter with people? Why would they miss out on that shit?
It got short. You know, it got real light over there. But I was actually calling for Andrade. I was never a big fan of his. That's my first time I seen it. He's huge. He looks like a big middleweight at 154.
Yo, and he's such
he was looking real physically imposing in the ring there.
Yo, he's such a nice guy too, and like I was saying last week, this is a guy that actually wants to fight guys. He's been calling out Canelo longer than getting Cotto. He's been calling out
yeah,
Laura.
And I was actually going back and forth with James like a couple of months ago on Twitter about the 154 division and these young guys. And I'm like, it's a shame that Andrade, you know, he's on the other side of the gate, and I would like to see him run through like Ronnie Shields' crew with the Charlos and Laura.
Bro,
I would
Kevin,
like to see him get those fights.
He's Banner. He can.
Don't think that they won't happen. He's with Star Boxing, and he's not signed to HBO. I got an interview that I did with him when he was in DC, and he clearly said that I could go to Showtime, I could go to HBO. I ain't with nobody but Star Boxing, and we're gonna keep it that way. He also said I would fight Charlo if it's going to be for the vacant IBF title, because he thought Molina would get stripped. That's when Molina was in jail, you know. So he had, I'm telling you, look, he calls out Canelo like he calls out Laura like he'll fight a Charlo. He doesn't care about, you know, star power or money. He wants to fight them guys. He knows that's going to come, and that's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what's funny? Yesterday, you know, he seemed to get stronger later in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Or he took chances later in the fight, because I felt like he was throwing bigger, harder shots towards the end of that fight.
I think he established himself early in that fight, and he knew it was just a matter of time. So he was just, you know, I think he was in there getting some rounds, trying to look impressive, and then he was gonna, you know, he was just waiting for the spot, because he established himself pretty early in there. I was just amazed. I was, you know, he was in the ring. I was looking at him, and he was huge at 154. And I'm like, you know what, this guy might give people a problem. I mean, he keeps his stance a little wide sometimes. He gets a little, I don't know. I don't think he uses his physical advantages enough. But I don't see either of the Charlos beating him. And I don't know. I got a hard time. I'd like to see. I mean, that division's so stacked. There's no reason why they can't have like some type of round robin where these guys. I'm tired of these guys that are in their prime fighting 2 times a year. Like, they should be going 4 times a year. If you fight 3 or 4 tough fights in a year and you go 2-1, you go, you know, 2-2, that don't kill your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but you know,
that's exposure. That's good fight.
Kevin, you know what it is? I had just interviewed Brian Jennings a couple days ago, and he was telling me, because I asked him about the inconsistencies in the activity. You know what I'm saying? This was a guy that was fighting like 4 times a year on NBC Sports Network. Now you get with the big dogs, and you can barely get on their television, and that's exactly it. Once you sign to HBO and Showtime, you become dependent on their schedule, and you can't fight 4 times a year unless you're a Pacquiao or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And even Pacquiao doesn't really do it. He gets in like 3, because it takes time to promote these fights now, man. These guys are doing so much stuff. Like, look at it. Look how much content you can get on the internet now from your actual television network. So they're just trying to invest more in the sport. So they're keeping these guys on the shelf longer. I agree with you. I want to see a Thurman fight more than twice a year. Like, I want to see Porter and Garcia and all these guys fight, you know, at least 3 times. Give me one more.
But now look at what like Triple G did. Like, he took that fight off of TV just to keep that fight. Especially when these guys aren't signed to Top Rank, they're signed to these other promoters. Like, he went to, where was that, Monaco? I don't know, I forget where he went. He went out and took that fight off of HBO. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah, but he got
I
big
think sometimes
money
it's
too.
easier to stay busy.
No, but he got big money, yo. Monaco, remember, Monaco had the Super 6, and he was the headline of that shit. He got money for that.
Yeah, I hear you. But, I mean, how much could – yeah, I guess unless you have, like, your own hometown where you could sell out and make money, it's tough. You kind of got to wait for that, that fight on TV, you know?
Remember, Monaco paid a huge portion of $1 million to Edwin Rodriguez for winning that tournament. Edwin Rodriguez wasn't the headliner. Gennady Golovkin was. And then they brought him back. So believe me, they're paying them big dollars. That's why they're going out there. And they're showing – and that's why HBO is now up their budget this year. I spoke to Tom Lawford not too long ago as well. And, you know, now fights are being made. You know, because I said, yo, how are we really going to get excited for Gil versus Golovkin? This is a guy that dug Golovkin 2 times. And he was like, well, yes, he really didn't duck him. HBO's just up the budget and giving the money that it's worth the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. You know, guys know you're going to get in there with Golovkin, you get in there with it. It's not 50-50. This fight is not 50-50, so they want to get paid for it.
How much is Golovkin getting, Ness? Do you know? How much is Golovkin getting?
I don't know how much Golovkin's getting. I tried to ask.
But they were paying Golovkin opponents because, like, Stevens got over $300K for his fight. So it's like, you know, like, if you're Gil, like, you really deserve more than that. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this.
But you know more than me. You heard it right there from the mouth right there. Says, you know, we didn't have the money.
Kevin, you got to understand this. Ask yourself that question one more time in slow motion. Curtis Stevens got $300,000. Allegedly, Vic says it was rumored to be like $375,000, but let's say $400,000.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Gil is a 2-time world champion. Gil beat fucking Stern, and he beat Sylvester, and then he beat Sam Solomon. Like, Gil has been doing, he beat Mundine. He's been doing his thing on his side of the globe. Remember that. It's not like he's some bum off the street. Like, Gil was good. He just lost to Barker. But before that, he won that title twice. He ducked Golovkin because he vacated it, but he was the IBF and the WBA champ.
One other question I had was on that Gamboa, the Gamboa fight. You hearing anything about early ticket sales for that over there? Because I like when fights go off places. And back when they used to have fights in, like, Cincinnati, back when they had fights in the Midwest, like, I don't know. I kind of like when you get those hometown fights and the hometown crowds. I was wondering if, you know, Crawford's selling any tickets out there.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's selling tickets, dude, because they opened up that venue for 18,000 tickets or something like that. They're expecting a huge turnout.
That's big.
Yeah, they're expecting a huge turnout. That's another reason why I don't think Crawford is going to lose. Like, he's got too much. You know, this is what he's been wanting, is a hometown fight, so he can prove that he can sell tickets out.
Yo, but what I'm thinking about this fight, though, is because you keep saying it's not going to be an easy fight for Gamboa. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Crawford. I'd be surprised if Crawford went in there and whitewashed him. I think it's going to be. I think Gamboa is Crawford's toughest opponent to date to me, and I think it's going to show in this fight. I think Crawford's going to win, but I don't think it's as easy as you guys are making it sound like.
I think that Gamboa, like I said, his balance and that chin is going to be nightmares, because once Crawford hits him with that left hook, what's going to happen? And you got to remember, Crawford is disciplined. He's like the Charlos. He's going to keep shooting that jab. All that side-to-side lateral movement, fancy with your hands down shit that Gamboa does, that shit ain't going to work this time around. He's going to be getting jabbed up, and he's going to get fucked up. He let Farinas fuck him up a little bit. Come on, man. Yo, Gamboa been looking spotty. Even in the Ponce de Leon fight, he won that fight on technicality because of a headbutt. Ponce was making it rough and tough, man. You kidding me? Crawford is taller, longer, bigger, and more disciplinedly skilled, because Gamboa is gifted. He has athleticism like Sergio and good explosive power, but Crawford is technically gifted. He's like that Mayweather style of fighting, you know. And no, I'm not talking about no fucking shoulder, bro. Kevin, I'm gonna put you on hold. We got some other calls we gotta get to. Thank you for calling in, brother.
No doubt.
Let me see. We got 312. You're live on a boxing voice. Who's this?
Yeah, what up, man? This is King J.
King J, what up, man? You got some crow to eat. You got some crow to
hell
eat.
Fucking yeah. That's why I'm calling in. Where's Beef? Where's Beef?
I'm right here, brother.
Hold up.
Hey, hit it.
I'm right here.
Damn. Hey, Beef. Hats off to you, man. I called in. I gave you so much shit for picking all these fights wrong, and out of all the fights I've picked, man, in between my friends and on other podcasts, man, this was one of those fights where I thought I was gonna fucking nail it right on the button, man. And
but if you do this long enough, brother,
man.
But if you do this long enough and you pick fights long enough, even if you're a handicapper, handicappers will tell you you're gonna be wrong at least 40% of the time. So the thing is when you're right, you got to make it count. And don't be ashamed to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hold up.
Yeah.
40% of the time, Beep. So that means I'm doing worse.
like I'm telling you, man. Most handicappers go 50-50, but the reason why they make money is because they hit their 3-to-1s, they hit their 4-to-1s, they hit their 2-to-1s. That's how you make money. You hit a 4-to-1. That's like being right 4 times.
Beep, what was Algieri last night, Beep? Because
5-to-1 underdog. So whoever picked it, so whoever picked Algieri basically wins 5 bets because you're playing.
Did you put something on him, Beepster? You put something on him, Beepster.
No, I didn't. You know why? I thought Provodnikov was going to win, but I wanted Algieri to win. So whenever I'm in a situation like that, when I want the guy who I think is going to lose to win, I don't bet that fight. When he won last night, I jumped up and down and I was screaming. My fucking neighbor told me to shut the fuck up upstairs.
She hit you with the broomstick from the bottom.
yeah, man. But I thought Provodnikov was going to win, man. And I don't want to take up too much of this caller's time, but like I said, man, you're going to be wrong a lot more if you call fights. So it's not about being right. It's about when you are right, make it count. Like when Cotto won, I made that count because I made 2 proposition bets, and both of my bets were like, one of my bets was 3-to-1, another one of my bets was 5-to-1. I knew I was going to lose one of them, but I was going to at least triple my money and possibly 5 times my money. So that's how I do it, brother. That's how come I'm still afloat, man.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Good you know what's fucked up that fucking before the fight started, nobody wanted to bet because everybody had Martinez. And this one guy's like, well, fuck it, I'll bet you I got Martinez. And I was like, nah, fuck it, I bet him a bottle of tequila and this other guy $100. And I still wanted Martinez to win, man. Like, even though I won, I was like, man, fuck, man. Like, halfway through the fight, I was like, man, maybe you can still get lucky with 1 punch, man. But I was like, man, fuck him, man. This guy's, and he's fucking done, dude. His knees were out.
Nobody was begging and pleading with the boxing gods more than me. Every round, I kept thinking Martinez could do it, and at one point, I did this. And
That's awesome.
Man, yeah. So I guess you were like me, right? You were just like, damn, maybe he could land that fucking right, and that motherfucker never came.
Absolutely,
it never came, man.
Hey, man, I'm going to get to some other callers, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. If you haven't done so already, please rate us 5 stars on iTunes, the only show that lets you chop it up 24/7. We're talking Andrade versus Brian Rhodes. We're live with 206. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, fam? What's going on, boxing fam?
What's going on, brother? Talk to us.
I was going to ask, man, you guys, first of all, I was calling in for the fights last night, but y'all still making excuses for Martinez, man, a week later. The guy got beat, man. It ain't his knees. If he fought different fights with bad knees, that's his own fault, man. Come on. The guy, I mean, shit, Cotto's just as good a technical boxer as he is, so they're better, actually. But anyway,
no one's discrediting Cotto. We just got confirmation on the replay. It took some translation, but I speak Spanish and a whole bunch of other viewers do too, and we heard what was said in that round.
Yeah, I heard it too, but we always hear something when the camera's there, man. Of course, there's a little show that goes on. He's not just gonna quit on his own without being asked. Come on, like you said though, he didn't put up much of a fuss. If you're on that level about to lose your title, you could say the same thing. The thing about it is, he didn't really get beat down, and he, they didn't want to go on. They knew that he wasn't about to turn the fight around. But I don't think he wasn't limping or nothing. I don't think his knees are all that shot. I just think they didn't.
No, those knees are trash, brother.
He was Cotto, and they didn't. I think he was believing what everybody else believed, which it was going to be a one-sided, easy fight. And when it wasn't, he didn't have a plan B. He didn't adjust.
He knew his knees were trash going into that fight, but you know what he said to himself? He really didn't think much of Cotto. He just didn't think that much of Cotto. He didn't think Cotto could hurt him like that. And that's just, he probably should have pulled out of the fight, man. He needed another year to recuperate, man, or rehab those knees. I'm telling you straight up, man. He was not 100%, man. And that's not taking anything away from Cotto. I mean, I think Sergio was probably 70% that fight, man. And that's why people were saying, hey, he could be 40% and win. Not at this level, man. Not at this level.
That's exactly what Sergio thought, though.
Yeah, that's what he thought.
That shit.
That's what he thought.
We're making an intelligent pick because they're saying things like that. Even if he's 50%, even if he's 60%, he's going to smash Cotto. No, he's not going to smash Cotto.
No way. That's ridiculous.
Everybody is believing, man.
Yeah. Easy to say now that Cotto won. Monday.
Yo, you know what I love about this fight though is that all these people were clearly picking with their heart with Cotto, but now all of a sudden people are coming in like, oh, you should have saw this coming. You know what, motherfucker? You just threw the dart at the dartboard, bitch, and it got in the fucking bullseye. That happens every once in a while too. I'll be the first to admit when I picked what's his name, fucking over Ortiz. God, who just fought fucking fucking Collazo. Yeah, when I picked Collazo, I was like, yo, I think I want Collazo to win this shit. Fuck it, I'm going Collazo. You don't hear me every day like fucking, oh, you should have saw that coming.
Nobody. I'm not asking for credit for it. You're calling people out. I'm calling you out saying if you knew his knees were bad going in, which you're claiming now, why would you bet on him?
No, I knew my car was shitty, but I didn't know it was going to break down on the way to work. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Hey, listen. I've been telling everybody his knees were garbage.
And I'm going to be the first to say that I was one of those guys that probably went as low as a 20%. But
that's crazy. I can't believe it.
I'm also going to say that I was one of the guys that didn't believe his knees was going to be bad. I thought that the surgery would work. Beeb tried to school us and tell us, and even James said it. He was picking Martinez, but he said he never fully recovered from his knee surgery, and he sees this all the time. I just didn't think Cotto could do it. But look, Algieri did something greater, and Andrade is new. And I got some hot news to talk about anyway. Fucking Willie Nelson. He just signed with Cameron Duncan. This is another dude that now can possibly get on HBO a lot more than what Lou DiBella was doing because he's with Cameron Duncan, so that means he can do business with Top Rank and other people. Maybe this is a future Cotto opponent.
Yeah, but isn't he still with Lou DiBella as a promoter? Is Lou DiBella still promoting him and just Cameron Duncan's his manager?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, but Cameron Duncan has a better relationship with Bob Arum than Lou DiBella. I mean, almost all the Cameron Duncan fighters are Top Rank.
Okay.
They're close. Yeah, they're close.
And also, caller, I'm going to place you on hold. Thanks for calling in. And don't take anything personal here. We're all boxing fans, you know.
Yo, what I will say though is that in that 9th round, when the fucking camera goes right in on Sergio and they start talking to him about like, you know, how he's like pleading for him to stop the fight, Sergio gives that quick look over to the camera before he starts saying, "No, give me one more round." I'm just saying, bro. Yo, he knew he was on camera. He didn't want to sound like that.
James, you're mean-spirited today, baby. What happened?
Yo, I'm cranky from my trip. I got to go back to work tomorrow. I'm cranky as fuck.
Okay.
Guys, a really good fight that I'm pretty sure you guys are just as excited as me. Finally got its venue. Brandon Rios, Diego Chavez, welterweight fight taking place August 2nd on HBO. Is going to be at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. Usually when fights are at the Cosmopolitan means it's on a Friday, though, right? This is weird.
Fox Sports card, something like that, yeah.
This is so weird for it to be in this venue. I wonder how this is going to play.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure Rios is going to win this fight, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Diego Chavez.
Yo, yeah. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
I'm going upset special too, early too. I mean, clearly we got to see. I want to see some weigh-in.
Rios has been declining, man. He's just been getting hit too much, and I think the damage is starting to have an effect on him.
Yep, and Diego Chavez, although he lost to Keith Thurman, I'm high on Keith Thurman, so that loss to me isn't like it's not even that big of a loss. It's like when what's his name? I can't think of anyone's fucking names today. Who's that guy that lost to fucking Tim Bradley a while back? He knocked out fucking Delorme. Who am I thinking of?
Freddie Hernandez?
No. Abrego. There we go.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
No, you were cut off for a second though. Yeah, but it's Abrego. That's who I'm thinking of.
Like 6 times.
Oh, my bad.
I only heard you one time.
Yeah, but like the loss to Thurman though, I mean, he was competitive up to it. So I mean, he might have lost and shit like that. He might have lost, but this doesn't like I wouldn't say necessarily exposed him for being a shitty fighter. I think that fucking Rios would have been in the same situation had he been in there with Thurman. So I think that Chavez is gonna be a live dog in this fight. Plus he also now has the experience fighting someone like Keith Thurman because I think Keith Thurman's better than Brandon Rios. And like you said, Brandon Rios he's been a punchy bag almost every fight. Even when he wins, he gets his fucking ass beat. That's what we like. That's why I want to see Ruslan versus Rios when this shit's all said and done. But I'm leaning towards Chavez. I hold the right to flip-flop at the last minute if the camp, like certain things start coming out, or I start thinking that if I see some footage of Rios and I think that looks real good. But as of right now, I'm leaning towards Chavez. I'm with you guys, man.
You can change your pick up until before the fight starts.
Yo, I'll change my pick to before the bell rings. I don't give a fuck. I'll change my pick before it starts.
Fuck that. If you're a fan of the Boxing Voice, if you listen to the Boxing Voice, you know picks are done on the Thursday show. Post fight is Sunday. You got to make your pick on Thursday. Stop.
That's true.
No, my official pick is always on that Thursday. My official pick is always on that Thursday, and I'll never talk shit. I'll never talk shit if I pull an audible, it's just for me. But on that Thursday, once it's solidified, I'll never go back on that. I've never had it before. I'll go back on that.
Get made on the show. I mean,
I'm talking like if you're a gambler, you can bet the fight. Like as long as the bell doesn't ring, you can change your mind and bet whatever you want to bet. Is what I'm saying. I'm thinking as a gambler.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. I wouldn't even tell people what to do with their own money. But on August 23rd. Chicago's own Donovan the Bomb George is going to be back in action. He's going to be taking on Daya Davis of Coconut Creek, Florida, in a 12-round super middleweight bout for a minor title. But this is a good fight. We've seen Daya Davis in with a few guys, and we've seen Donovan George with a few guys. And I do believe this one is Donovan moving up. Well, staying at super middleweight because remember he was fighting at middleweight at one point and he moved up for the Superman fight and I guess he stayed there. Another couple of guys I remember Beeb earlier you said punishment or something like that. George Arce still out there taking punishment, but he did get a win, 8-round technical decision on the featherweight fight versus
Jorge Arce.
La Chevera, some shit like that. And Glenn Tapia, man. Glenn Tapia. Shout out to Glenn Tapia. And shout out to Sev, of course. Jersey Sev was out there covering the fight for us. And we got a good interview with Glenn Tapia. And it's pretty cool to hear Glenn Tapia talk like that. He's not worried about, fighting Pacquiao or any big thing. He's more interested in legacy. It's not about money with him. And he's back. In the camp with Freddie Roach. Remember, he used to be there as a sparring partner for Pacquiao, but now he's being trained by Freddie Roach. And, I guess it's hit or miss with Freddie Roach. He's doing good with some guys aren't. Maybe Tapia is one of those guys. I don't know how far Tapia could go, but I guess with being with Freddie Roach and being guided correctly by Carl Moretti, we'll be seeing more of him. They want to keep building him. He's got that whole Arturo Gatti vibe down in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where this fight took place at.
Yes, can I ask you a question about Freddie? You were there last night, if I'm not mistaken, right? So what did Freddie say about the outcome of the fight? Was he happy? Was he disappointed?
Well,
did he think that Provodnikov won, in other words?
No. I wasn't there. Remember, Vic and Pete
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were there, too.
Vic did drop off the memory card today, but he dropped it off really at 550 or some shit like that. So he did say that he's got a lot of time with Freddie on that chip. So I gotta get it up to you guys and put it out there, and we'll definitely have that out there for you guys. But Vic caught up with him for a long time. Former super middleweight title holder Robert Stieglitz is going to return to action July 26th in Germany. According to his promoter, SCS Promotions, his opponent hasn't been determined. And another guy that doesn't have an opponent is Glaskov, Caesar Glaskov, Karza Glaskov, NBC Sports.
Cesar. It's Cesar.
Cesar. He signed, of course, to Kathy Duva. And he's going to be back in action. He's going to be in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania at the Sands Casino, but he doesn't have an opponent yet either. And that's pretty much it in terms of headlines, guys. But upcoming fights, I guess what you got to look forward to this week on Thursday, June 19, 2014. Of course, you got Fox Sports 1, Fox Deportes. In Bayamón, Puerto Rico, you got McWilliams Arroyo. He's going to be taking on Frolian Salders in a 12-round IBF flyweight eliminator. So this is definitely a Vic fight. And we got Cesar Serra. This is another small dude versus Alex Rangel in a 10-round junior featherweight fight. And then Saturday over on Showtime, we got the card I don't think you guys should miss. It's not the best card. It's not. But it's a good rounded card, I guess, because take a look at what we had yesterday. We had two good fights, but one was a showcase.
Nah, these are good fights. I don't know why you'd even preface it like that, man. I think Devin Alexander Karras is a great fight. Lomachenko Russell's a great fight.
They could be picked apart because Devin should be fighting like a Thurman, not a Karras. Devin should be fighting.
Karras beat Berto. Karras only lost to Thurman.
Even Berto has a bunch of losses. Berto needs a win. Like Devin shouldn't be fighting a Karras though. Like, come on. Like, why not Thurman or a Porter?
Because I think that Karras is perfect for him, man. Devin coming off of a loss like that, Karras just beat Berto, then lost to Thurman. So I don't think it's that bad. I think that's a great fight. You could pick it apart, but you could pick any fight apart.
The Karras is old already. Like, he's old and shot warned already.
But, okay, so then we skip that one. I think Lomachenko-Russell's a great fight. I think that's a good fight. That's gonna be fireworks, yo. They're going to be throwing a billion punches around.
Well, let's not get carried away either, because this one could get picked apart. Like Lomachenko, a dude with 2 losses in only 2 fights. Or one loss. Something like that.
He's 1 loss. Yeah, but, I don't know. I still think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, but...
you have a winner in that fight right now?
A lot of the casual boxing fans already made a mistake getting high on Lomachenko the first time around. Now it's the second time. The only reason
Russell
fight is because they're both being tested. We're going to find out some answers. But even if Russell wins this, there's still going to be people out there that say, well, Lomachenko had no professional experience.
Yo, are you picking Russell, though?
I am probably going to pick Russell, yes.
I'm picking Lomachenko.
Yo, I'm 50-50. I don't know what I want right now. That's why it's weird that you were talking like you were so definitive about it. I'm not. I got to go back and think about this.
I like Lomachenko.
It's gonna be an amateur fight with headgear off. That's what it's gonna be. I'm telling you. I don't think it's gonna be knockouts.
But it's not. Gary Russell is a counterpuncher.
Yo, Gary Russell has no power. People talk about this guy knocking people out. I've seen this dude live. He has 0 power. I'm telling you, 0 power.
We'll see. We'll see. Counterpunchers. Link officially made his pick, Lomachenko. Counterpunchers have that deceiving power because the punch that hurts you is the one you don't see. But also on that undercard is going to be some new dude, Vyacheslav Sharbaransky versus a TBA. Dominic Brazil also is going to be back in action versus Delvin Vargas. Now, I don't even know who the fuck is Delvin Vargas. And I think this is a step back because his last time out, he fought Nagy Aguilera. So I don't know why he's fighting another heavyweight that's no name. They should keep it on, fringe contender heavyweights with some sort of name. But also on this card is Sharif Bogarde and the return of Chad Dawson. This is like a jam pack because it's going to be Show Extreme as well. And then you also got NBC Sports Net is going to be having Anatoly Dudchenko versus Nabajid Mohammadi in a heavyweight eliminator. Carl Dargan is going to be fighting Anthony Flores. Slovenian Barrera is going to be fighting Lee Campbell. And on the untelevised Punta Cana in DR is Argenis Lopez versus Darley Perez for the vacant WBA interim lightweight title. 135 is lightweight. WBA, who has that?
The WBA lightweight title, is it Vasquez?
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's Vasquez.
I don't know why Darley Perez wants to be his mandatory. He ain't going to beat him. Well, I guess that's it. Let me see if we got some calls we could take to the streets. Yes, 661, you're live. Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, JR from TJ? Just a quick drive-by on my thoughts on the Provodnikov-Algieri fight. Man, Provodnikov proved his power. Being able to do that to Algieri in the first round, what he did to his eye, reminds me what he did to Herrera, what he did to Bradley in that first round. So the guy's got serious power. But Algieri's got fucking cojones, man. He's got guts, man. What he did, the rest of the fight basically offset what Provodnikov did in the first round. I mean, he was able to, and he even I watched a YouTube video, or it was post-fight comments that Algieri did about, because the second knockdown in the first round, he took a knee. And I didn't really see a punch. He just took a knee. And he said the reason he took a knee was because, like, the right side of his face was numb, and he could feel like a bulge, like some swelling going on. So he just took the knee just to see what was going on. And once he figured out that it was just his eye was, like, kind of fucked up, it was swelling, he got back up and he got back to business. Man, that's a smart guy. That's a guy that I give a lot of props to. And Provodnikov, he just didn't seem like the same Provodnikov I've seen before in previous fights. I mean, he was cutting the ring off, he was closing the distance, but he wasn't landing nothing. And most importantly, he wasn't throwing more than like one shot. He was just like loading up, just loading up on one shot, and he wasn't active at all, man. Algieri was controlling him with the jab. He was controlling him with the right hand. He was also smart in the clinches. He would Provodnikov would sometimes he would like really get really up close, but he wouldn't do anything. So Algieri would grab him, but then immediately and Provodnikov looked like he was just wanting the referee to separate them. But Algieri would like immediately let go, step back, and just smack him to the side of his face. And he did that over and over again. Kind of reminded me what Provodnikov was doing in the Alvarado fight, where he would clinch him, but then let go immediately and just smack him with the left hook. So, and I had, I'm not trying to be a fanboy for Algieri. I didn't even know who this guy was. And I had Provodnikov. I put like $13 on Provodnikov winning by KO. That first round, I was thinking, hell yeah, and then said, I got to give all props to Algieri. And I was watching a fight on the computer via stream, and I had the Sky Network, UK network telecast, so I didn't see it on HBO. So, and I've been hearing what you guys have been saying about the HBO telecast, and man, I'm glad I didn't fucking watch the fight via the HBO telecast, because Algieri won this fight, and Paulie Malignaggi was on the Skype, I keep saying Skype telecast, and he at one point called Provodnikov style, the way he was fighting that fight, like he was fighting like a caveman. And that's kind of like bitter coming from Paulie. If he's fighting like a caveman, why don't you fight him then and see what you can do against him? But whatever. I love Paulie. He did a great job again. And I want to ask you guys about Andrade. He's an HBO fighter, and he's a junior middleweight. Where does he go from here? I mean, there's Carlos Molina, Lara, Alvarez, Mayweather.
He's not an HBO fighter. He's not an HBO fighter.
Sorry.
No, he's fought on HBO twice, but he's not an HBO fighter. There's no deal in place yet. He already made it clear that he could go to either network. He's fought on Showtime and HBO already. He fought Hernandez on Showtime.
Oh, that's fucking awesome for him because he's got Trout, he's got Molina, he's got Lara, he's got Alvarez, man. He's got, man, he looked impressive.
J-Rock.
The way he was keeping his right hand down, but I think he was just so confident that Rose wasn't going to be able to do anything against him. So, he's doing kind of like the Roy Jones, Mayweather, keep the right hand down because I'm so quick, I'm so fast, I can counter you. But I don't think I think he was just doing it because he was feeling so confident that this guy couldn't hurt him. And the last thing I want to say, can we move it back to like the super middleweights? What's Andre Ward going to do? What are you going to do next?
Andre Ward is still in litigations. He's going to be tied up. I reported that a couple of he told ESPN he's going to be tied up for probably the rest of 2014 and some of 2015. So he's not going to be fighting. He's just going to be doing what he's doing, talking about other fighters on HBO.
Jesus, man, that guy's so talented. I love watching him fight. He's a smart fighter, too. He's got a lot of skill, a lot of technique. He's going on, like a year and a half now? He hasn't fought, man. That's disappointing. And my last point, what about Froch? I mean, that without Andre Ward in the mix, where does he go from here? There's Stieglitz, Rhodes, Kessler again. I mean,
Chavez in Vegas.
He's got DeGale, another domestic fight that's going to be huge. He's got DeGale. DeGale knocked out Brandon Gonzalez on his undercard in front of 80,000 people. The blueprint is there. They know him, watched him.
Yo, but I saw something on the boxing scene that said Eddie Hearn was going to sit down with Bob Arum to talk to him about Chavez in Vegas.
Well, yeah, I mean, all those options are there. Golovkin, there was talks of Golovkin getting in and ringing him and Chavez as well. But, Chavez already can't make deals or something is up. Something is up. So what I'm saying is for Froch, he always got the fail-safe of DeGale. Caller, man, thanks for calling in. You were our last call of the night.
Yo, real quick, too, just because I want to make sure our facts are correct. It's Richard Bril that has the WBA, that he'd be, Darley Perez would be the mandatory for it. But he's getting it. It's an interim title, so I guess he'd be the champion until Bril gets back.
Yeah, where is Bril?
He went back to Cuba maybe for the third time or whatever. I don't know.
Remember last time we did a few shows ago, I was saying that he was going to another country to fight somebody for no fucking reason. But I don't know what happened. He was on Showtime Air for a while, and now he's gone. He was also doing some Brandon Reel's Top Rank stuff. Now he's gone. It's crazy. Nobody wants this kid. Just like Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux's going to have his last fight in Macau, and he's also going to be a free agent. But that's another podcast for another show. This is Ruslan Provodnikov versus Chris Algieri post-fight show. I am your host, NesGTO. Find me on Twitter at NesGTO, and you can find my co-host, Beeb.
Habib1.
And James.
At Jameson Rocket, Jameson with an I.
The Boxing Boys for the boys of the people.
Later.
All right.